You're laughing already.
No, look at the comment in our chat.
Oh, about Gintama?
Well, that's not by KyoAni, but like
they just really, they know you're on. They want your expertise, your opinion on what they should do for their dilemma. So, whoever's joining us, hi. Let us know if we sound up to standard. I'm wondering if I should like tweet. Hold on. Yeah, I guess I'll just retweet the Just Weebs thing. Makes sense.
I'm tweeting my thing. I'm just why the Gintama comment's so funny. Like, I mean, pre-show, I guess, talking about after 100 eps of Gintama, I feel like it's kind of meh. Should I keep going? I feel like I'm ready to drop it. I mean, it depends if meh to you means like you genuinely don't enjoy any aspect of it, like you don't have fun with any episode, then you should definitely drop it. But if you're just kind of like, I mean, if you're interested to see what happens, like if you have some interest in it, then I'd say keep going. But if you're just like totally not feeling it, then I'd say you could drop it. But I mean, I found parts of it pretty meh until later on, but then, once I got into it a bit more, like kept watching it, I found it was not meh, but I'm weird and I will keep watching something until completion if I'm really curious. And that's where I was with Gintama. So there's no right answer.
I have to get on that, it's that. And I guess visual novels, that's
well, I don't know. I mean,
how's that going?
It's going great, but I'm just so, okay. So I think I'm in the clear. Like, I've got, let's just say like 10 more. I don't know how many chapters I have left. I'm essentially halfway done the last part of Yumi Neko. I'm in the clear, so close. And I don't want to say I'm looking forward to it being done. I'm just looking forward to not spending like more like 18-hour periods reading something. That's what I'm looking forward to. I'm ready to like.
You're looking forward to no longer having to be unjustifiably unproductive.
Exactly, and it's been really great so far. Like I'm really enjoying this. I'm really enjoying this episode. It's definitely my favorite. It's the last one. So it's doing good stuff so far. So it's definitely not like I'm not enjoying it, but I'm ready to be free of visual novels. That's where I'm at. Free me from the clutches of this medium. But
I mean, until you pick up another visual novel.
There's only one more I'm doing, and then I'm calling it quits.
Okay. What's next? What's next in the pipeline?
Steins Gate, because I never actually read it, so it's time to be like, stop being a fake fan. It's Kurisu's birthday. I got the Steins Gate shirt. Happy birthday, Kurisu, top one. But yeah, then once I've read Steins Gate, I can say I'm truly a Steins Gate fan, and then I can drop visual novels. And
it's okay. I think like I'm a fake Ava fan sometimes.
No, you've watched it though. I don't think you need to read like the manga and stuff.
I don't know. I was watching 2.0 again last night because my friend hadn't seen it, and we were just rewatching it, and like I don't know. I was like, whatever.
Yeah. No, but I think the rebuilds are like different.
Yeah, it's a different.
They're different. It's like me saying like, oh well, like I don't know about Steins Gate Zero. That doesn't make me like not a like Steins Gate fan.
Yeah, that's true. I don't know about Steins Gate Zero. Forget it.
Yeah. We got some of the fam squad in our chat. We have Maz. We have KyoAni. Hi, KyoAni. We have Replay Value. Goat.
Hey, Replay.
Yeah, KyoAni, Yumi Neko is in the same cinematic universe as Higurashi, as I call it, the When They Cry cinematic universe. I just think that's like a funny way of putting it, but they have like the same writer, and then there are some elements that cross over a bit, but even I don't know the full details because I haven't consumed any Higurashi.
I see Delph is on. Hey, Delph. KyoAni says if he gives you a super chat, if you'll say the one line about driving scenes.
I love the drive.
We don't have super chat enabled, not yet. You guys got to help us to get there so we can get super chats.
KyoAni, you should know that Onimaru likes the driving scenes in York New more than I do, so he might take more offense to your take on it than me.
I mean, I like York New. It's cool.
When do we get Replay Value? Absolute Legend said, when do I get to have the Just Weebs duo on Jeopardy? I'm going to speak for both of us because I want Onimaru to go on Jeopardy, but we would love to go on. I need to go back after Tay demolished me. KyoAni won too. KyoAni, I think, came in second. And so I need to get my revenge because I did really bad.
I mean, I'm down to go on. I just need enough of a heads up so I can like study, like train under a waterfall
so you can
for
watch
like
the
a
entire
week or
medium.
two. Yeah.
So he can. Hot take probation is over. Let's go, KyoAni. I love that for you. And Tay can never win again, but it begs. He did technically win Jeopardy, but it begs the question: has he ever truly won? The answer is still yes, but I don't want to admit that.
Yeah. I mean, I just I'm not great at anime trivia, so I just got.
I think you will be.
Nah, I don't know that much.
I think you're hustling us. I think you do.
No, I don't actually hustle. I'm just genuine.
I don't believe you. I don't believe that. I think you do really well.
Yeah. Let's see. Okay. So we're gathered here today. Well, actually, I shouldn't say that yet. We got to start the episode first. So
we're hopefully yeah.
Are we good to start? Are we waiting for more people to take their seats?
I don't know. I think we got a fun squad, but I think we're pretty good.
Yeah, and definitely during the actual like pod when we actually start, definitely feel free to share your thoughts with us about, KyoAni, how the work impacted you and stuff like that. We asked people on Twitter to do that too, so we'll be talking about that.
Yeah, we'll possibly be reading their tweets. I think we will be reading them. I don't know, like I was gonna read their tweets, but my friend Chris wrote like a paste bin that's it's a bit excessive, but I could kind of summarize it. I don't know if we want to read paste bins, but I do appreciate it.
Yeah, I mean, like just go through the high level kind of points.
Yeah.
Or okay, so let's get to this. All right. Hello, and welcome to another installment of Just Weebs. I'm Onimaru, your host this week and most weeks, and I'm joined today by Shocking.
Hey, guys.
And today we're actually going to be talking about KyoAni, or Kyoto Animation, and our favorite works from them in order to honor them, because this month is considered KyoAni month because of the tragedy that happened, took place 2 years ago. If you want to talk a little bit more about it, Shaw.
Yeah, it's really sad to talk about, so I don't want to stay on it too much, but I do think it's worth, remembering why it's KyoAni month and just kind of bringing everything into perspective. But unfortunately, 2 years ago, there was the arson incident at Kyoto Animation's main studio, and many lost their lives, some of which all of which have worked on some of our favorites, and we lost a lot of really talented, fantastic artists. And, I still think about them a lot. I still think about them every time I watch a Kyoto Animation show, when I think back to some of my favorite memories of, witnessing and appreciating this medium. And I think it's great to kind of carry on their memory by talking about the fantastic art they poured all their time into. Obviously, there's a lot of love put into everything they've created. And I think Kyoto Animation is a very unique studio, not only for their humane work conditions, not only for being the absolute best at what they do, but the type of shows that shows and movies, the properties they work on, really focus on highlighting the different aspects of life that really touch us in different ways that we can't really get in other mediums per se. They highlight the highs and lows of life, sometimes the mundane parts of life, and they make that beautiful and exciting. So they really do focus on trying to bring, beauty and love to their work. And I think there's a lot to celebrate there.
Yeah, I think that's actually very well said, Shaw, because, no one can really say that Kyoto Animation doesn't have like the most visually stunning animation in the game. They kind of are one of the most top tier studio in terms of their animation, but also in terms of their focus, kind of what they do with animation really like elevates the medium, because it's not so much about like, plot twists or like the story or the whole narrative. It's more about, again, like Shaw said, those little moments and how to express that and how to capture that in animation. So, and also I want to preface this by saying like we're probably not the most qualified or like the most well-versed with the studio itself. Like I think like we love like some of their works, but at least for me personally, like I just don't know like too much about like like I wouldn't be able to tell you about the staff that worked on this or did that.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why we just chose to like just focus on like specifically the shows that resonated with us that we watched, and like talk about like, you know, how we first became like acquainted with Kyoto Animation. Like for me, my first Kyoto Animation show before I knew it was Kyoto Animation was Air, that was airing back in 2005, 2004. Wow. And I was like a very young lad, and that show like broke me. It depressed me for like 2 days.
Yeah.
And then after that was like, I don't know, the only other Kyoto Animation show was Suzumiya Haruhi. I watched that while I was airing, and that kind of shaped, you know, my high school years. Yeah. And then that's kind of it. I didn't really know it was Kyoto Animation, I think, till like this is Kyoto Animation, this is what they're known for, until I think Beyond the Boundary. I think till then. I think that's when I kind of like started to kind of be aware of the studio as the studio. Yeah.
I think I was in kind of a similar boat of, I think I watched, I'm trying to think back because it's been a bit. I think The Melancholy of Haruhi Suzumiya was my first Kyoto Animation works. But I think in the similar boat, Beyond the Boundary was the first series I went into knowing this is Kyoto Animation. And I think that's kind of fitting because, at least to me, Beyond the Boundary is kind of like entry-level slice of life. That's what I think about it, thinking back. Because there's a lot of, there is generally like the slice of life overtone to it, but I think there's also enough action sequences that you could say like, you could kind of sell it to someone who had predominantly just seen action series and say like, hey, look, it's like got this romance drama, but it's also a lot of action sequences that are cool. So it's kind of like getting you into the Kyoto Animation style.
It has it all because it even has that, I think episode 7, that one sequence where they're like
idols.
Yeah, idols.
That's like one of everyone's like favorite filler episode is when they have to become an idol group to like defeat that demon or whatever.
It was pretty cool, but like very out of place, like because it just didn't jive with everything else that was going on, but it was still cool nonetheless.
It was welcome. I would welcome it.
Yeah. It was like, I guess I should just say completely unexpected.
It was very unexpected.
But really well done. But yeah, no, I liked Beyond Boundary when it aired. I think I saw someone in the chat mention Full Metal Panic Fumofu was one of their first works, which I did watch, but I don't know if I watched it when it first aired. I watched it at some point, and I actually really enjoyed the comedy in that one because I had watched the original Full Metal Panic, and I was always kind of like, like on it. Like it had an interesting concept, but I just didn't really like enjoy how it was executed. And then Fumofu was just, okay, let's take the characters and take this completely serious concept and throw it out the window and just make it a super lighthearted, like kind of absurd comedy. And it was actually really, really good.
I've heard similar things that the original Full Metal Panic is like kind of whatever, but then Fumofu is actually like brilliant because it just highlights all the like hilarious aspects of it. And I think that's like a brilliant idea just in general. I haven't seen it yet, but I will get to it eventually. But I think that's just like a brilliant idea. I love the idea of taking like, you know, you have this serious series and then you're like, okay, let's just do like the absurd comedy version of it. I think that's just like a fantastic formula to do. So I think that sounds awesome.
Yeah, no, I think they absolutely nailed it. It's super, super funny. Even to just watch as standalone, because it's like there's not a lot that you kind of missed kind of jumping into Fumofu, just kind of knowing who the characters are. And some of the funniest aspects was in the original was like kind of the setup of, you know, who the characters were, but you didn't get to explore that because it was too much focused on the mechs and kind of everything else going on. So, so Fumofu was really good. And then it went back to seriousness in the second raid, which was the third series. But that was actually also really, really good. So actually way better than the first series, though. They did good.
That Full Metal Panic is like probably the Kyoto Animation series I know of the least. Did they do the original or did they like take it on? So they just like just took the original. They're like, okay, watch us spit.
We gotta prove ourselves.
Yeah, they just like killed it because it doesn't look like Kyoto Animation style per se. From making the mosaic for our thumbnail, I was like, this one stands out the most because it does not look like Kyoto Animation.
I think, it was probably because it was adapting, from already like someone that had already done the first anime, so they kind of wanted to keep it similar, or maybe they hadn't figured out their signature style yet. I don't know.
Klaus Falk mentioned Gonzo did the original.
Oh, there you go, Gonzo. I was trying to look that up.
That's cool to hear.
Yeah, that was Gonzo.
Yeah.
So those are the first like sort of KyoAni shows I was exposed to. And then I did pick up Free in 2013 when it was airing. That was fun.
Splash Free. I haven't seen it air. I didn't see it airing, so I could only imagine what Free was like airing, because I feel like you have like the reputation of Free, and then there's like the After Effect reputation of Free, where you just see like everything gift on Tumblr, and now you have like Free as like a anime that existed but isn't discussed as much. But I could only imagine how people were talking about it when it first came out, because I don't think there were many like big mainstream anime that were very like obviously aimed towards like women that were a bit more how should I put it, like I don't know, like showcasing male fan service. I'll put it that way. Could not think of a better way of putting it.
Yeah, I mean, like Free, I started watching it actually as a joke. So it was like summer 2013.
You watch it ironically. Yes.
Yeah, and me and my guy friends were just like, hey, let's watch Free. And I think like, again, we just started as a joke, and we only meant to like watch an episode or two. But we just sort of stuck with it for the rest of the season. And we're like, hey, it's not that bad.
That's cool. That's cool to hear. It's like, hey, wait a minute.
It's like, hey, I'm sort of invested. It's like, are you still watching Free? Yeah.
That's great to hear. I mean, I don't know what it would be like to watch it back then, because even before like watching anime, I was still aware of Free's existence. And I still remember the when I was on Tumblr, they had the GIF of like Rin in Eternal Summer when he's in the cop uniform doing that, like the body what is it? It's like the stripper like gyration kind of thing.
Yeah.
I remember that was like a meme, and then that would be copied for like every other series. So I remember that. And then like, let's say 5 years later, when I'm actually watching Free, I'm like, I know that. I'm like the Leo gif. I'm like, I know that. So that was kind of funny to see.
We kept making fun of it, like the whole ending, like we would sing it and dance along to it. And then it just kind of became like, okay, we're not doing it ironically anymore.
Yeah, I feel like that's fitting, because even when I watched the first season of Free, I was like, this is kind of like a bit, like the tone was just a bit much for me. Like it was very kind of campy, but like fun campy. It was just kind of like, it was just a bit extreme. And then I really loved the second season as like a coming of age story. And the third season's still good, but I think they increased the cast a bit too much. But I think you can just like always tell the tone of Free based on the endings, which are some of the best endings like in the game. The endings are just so ridiculous and funny, but entertaining. Like I have so many favorite parts of each ending that I just like rewatch and start laughing at every time. Yeah.
No, the endings are pretty on point. Second season was good. It was probably the best season. I don't know. I enjoyed the third season, but I can see the problems, and it did get really. It did get as intense as the first season, actually probably even more so. And
my only beef was that I'm like, they're in college now. You can't be replicating middle school, high school drama in college. That was my only beef. But, it was still good, like no disrespect. And the water looks like fantastic. And I think some of the character drama moments were like really impactful, both from like a slice of life coming of age standpoint and also from a sports anime standpoint. So,
I enjoyed it. I even found like recently I was kind of looking back at some videos I did. And I didn't remember that I had pitched Free in one of my videos.
Oh, really? That's funny.
Yeah. I actually have it here if you want to see it. If you want to see my pitch for people to watch Free.
Yeah, what is it?
All right, well, here we go.
Hey, have you checked out Free? I hear it's back this season and it's better than ever. I don't know. I don't think that seems like my type of show. You know, I thought that too, but once you learn to look past the man service, you'll see that it explores deep philosophical issues that add meaning to our lives. I'll pass. Bro. Why is your shirt off?
That
was
it.
Thank God for the existence of this. Yay.
I was like, oh Free. Yeah, I did that.
So great. Oh my God.
I mean, it's true though. Once you get past the man service.
Yeah, that's so true. This is so funny. Oh my God.
All right. And then what's next?
We will
Free.
go. We can go back to more of these. By the way, this is like a nice rundown of like when we watched it, and we're like, yeah, so this was pretty good. But I'm glad that we talked about this just for the existence of that video. I can just see like, you recording that.
I was like, this didn't get enough views, so let me let me just chill a little bit here.
No, that was deserved. Yeah, Free is just like a fun experience. I would definitely recommend it. Even as you said, even if you didn't think you'd be into it, I think it's worth checking out. I think it definitely puts people off, but once they check it out, they're like, "Oh, this is, this is actually pretty good." It's one of those, "Hey, this is actually pretty good" shows.
Yeah, this is like actually not that bad, and like I did it just at first as a joke, and also to slightly spite my fiance because she was like watching it, and then it's like, "So you're enjoying Free, huh?"
Yeah, she wins again.
Yeah.
She never does it. She always wins. I love it. Who is her favorite and your favorite?
Yeah. Wait, what was that?
Who is her favorite and your favorite?
My favorite's Rin, and her favorite's Haru. So
it's like Haru is like the wild card where like I didn't anticipate liking him as much as I did, and then I did really like him. And then I was always a Makoto and then Sasuke fan.
Wait,
but everyone
Sosuke?
Sosuke?
Oh, Sosuke. I was like thinking
Sosuke.
Like,
there's an O.
Sasuke from Naruto.
I do. Yeah. Can you imagine? So Sasuke is my favorite. Free. No, Sosuke was my favorite by like season 2, season 3 time. Yeah. And then, but yeah, I was a Makoto fan, but I've gotten into so many funny, I guess, best guy wars with my friends. Like when they like Rin, and then in the first season, he's kind of a dick to everyone. And we're like, bro, like this is like a bit edgy. And my one friend was like, knew that he was going to be a Rin fan. And he's like, I know he sucks right now, but I'm waiting for when it gets good. And I'm like, well, I'm sure it'll happen. And he does. So
Rin, he's just misunderstood. He's a little intense in the first season. It's the shark teeth, but
the shark teeth.
He can be a dick, but he's our dick.
And I would be remiss without mentioning 50% off the abridged series for Free. It's probably my favorite abridged series. It's really funny. You can tell from the name calling it Free to go into 50% off. It's like
I actually haven't checked it out.
It's really funny. I would recommend it to everyone. Even if you haven't seen Free, just check it out. It's really funny.
I'll definitely check it out.
Definitely worth watching, especially if you have seen Free. I call it the disappearance. You know what disappearance is to Melancholy of Haruhi? Yeah. I call it like 50% the disappearance to Free. Like you watch Free to get to. Yeah.
Really? That's a good sell.
I try. I don't know if I'm overselling it, underselling it, or just selling it, but I think it's definitely worth checking out.
All right, yeah. I mean, like, I didn't think a parody would elevate the source material that much.
I'm telling you, it doesn't make sense until you see. It kind of sounds like the Full Metal Panic Fomofu situation.
Wow. Okay.
It kind of is like in that vein, but you'll have to let me know by checking it out.
I'll check it out. We'll do a whole pod reviewing it.
We could actually. That would be so funny. I would die. Yeah. Okay, if we do that, we will wrap the ending because they do a parody of the first ending. Okay. And we will recreate that.
That's it. Let's go. We got to do it.
Yeah.
I mean, we'll fail at it, but at least I will.
We're gonna do it. No,
I'll do it.
You already have been making skit videos on Free. We're already ahead of the game.
There you go.
You've done the homework.
Yeah, I'm prepared.
So watch Free, but let's see. What should be next on our list? Should we talk about more, or should we read some of the tweets we got? Jesus, hair.
I think we could let's read some of the tweets we got, or actually because I'm thinking like what else we would kind of touch on. Like a big one is Sound Euphonium, but I don't know if you want to get to that yet. So if you
I feel like that's the big fish to fry. I wasn't sure if we should do Haruhi first since we did mention that.
Yeah,
already.
Actually, let's talk about Haruhi because I feel like we're at different ends with how we feel about. Well, maybe not. I don't know. How did you? I think you didn't like the first season of Haruhi too much.
No. So I appreciate the concept of Haruhi. I think it's a unique concept, and I want to preface by recognizing that it's like possibly the most influential anime of the 2000s, especially for light novel adaptations. It was an absolute phenomenon. And if I'm looking at a series to recommend to people, like if I'm looking at the medium as an overall thing, I'm 100% recommending that so people get a sense of like the foundation of the current industry and just industry and community as a whole. Like was a groundbreaking series, but I definitely didn't enjoy it as much as some of the other series I'd seen in like a similar setting. But full recognition that it paved the way for other series to come. So like groundbreaking, not taking that away. And I think the concept is interesting. I just didn't really enjoy the concept as much as other people, but I think it also is cool to lead to Disappearance, which is one of the best anime films ever made. So I hate to be in that position of like not singing the praises of all of it, but I do want to recognize that it's very much worthwhile, just definitely not for me as much as it is for many other people.
Did you watch it in order, in chronological order?
I think I did chronological order. Okay. I wasn't even aware of the like broadcast versus chronological order. So
yeah, because I only watched it in broadcast order because that's when it was airing, and it was the most confusing.
That's probably very confusing
ever. But that one episode, when they finally got to the episode where they're doing God Knows and the whole like concert thing at the end, that was just amazing. Like having watched it for the first time, I was like, whoa, this is really good.
It still holds up today. Like you can watch that and you're like, they really went hard with this. It's amazing. It feels like a magical moment brought to life.
Yeah, but like piecing everything together was like a little confusing, but it was good. I think it was just sort of to be able to share with that in the community at the time, and kind of everyone in the small anime community at the time was like watching it. So that was kind of cool. Like people really loved the opening, really loved the dance, and everyone was just dancing Hada Hada Yukai everywhere.
Yeah.
So, but I definitely enjoyed the first season. I never finished the second season. And then I just skipped to Disappearance, which I watched once, but I remember it was like a different tier.
Yeah, definitely. I think just like 50% off and free. You watched Melancholy of Haruhi to get to Disappearance. I can't believe I made that comparison, and that's just going to be the new thing. But yeah,
that's the new thing.
Disappearance is like definitely another tier. I think it's just a fantastic movie kind of on its own. Like no matter how you feel about the original series, like it's pretty much just great on its own. I definitely appreciate it a lot more in recent times, looking back on how it has influenced so many films that have come later on and have not really pulled off the tropes and storytelling as well, let alone the like direction and animation. That's just absolutely next tier in that film.
I really got to rewatch it. It's been a long time because I do not remember any of the plot, but it's really telling when the best part of a franchise is when the main character is nowhere to be seen for the whole movie.
But yeah, my favorite is like my best friend Tay. They have like this complex with titles where they like somehow they either take the titles too literally, or not literally enough. So they were like surprised when Haruhi disappeared in The Disappearance of Haruhi, and I was like, I don't think that's much of a spoiler to know that they disappear, but
that's why it was called that, guys.
That's what it means, but that's still one of my favorite. It's one of my favorite things. And then I think it's just really telling that even though I wouldn't consider the Disappearance film like a personal all-time favorite, I think Kyo's choice scene is just like one of the best of all time. And I kind of love that you can have certain favorite aspects of series where like this just represents the highlight of the medium, even in stuff that aren't necessarily your favorites or like your top ones. Yeah. And I always think back to Kyo's choice as just like absolute perfection, presentation, thematic, culmination of his character arc, just like everything. Like that's just such a perfect scene. So yeah, I mean, if you want to see one of the highlights of the medium, go check it out. Like I'm sure most people who are watching this have seen it, but like it came back in 2010. That's a while. That's 11 years from now. So there's a chance that people haven't seen it, and I think they should definitely go do the legwork to watch it.
I was always tempted to go and read the light novels because I know now they're finished, and to kind of get the full story. Yeah, they are.
Did he come out with like the last one or something?
I think so. I think like a year or two back.
Okay, I wasn't sure.
Yeah, because I don't think it's ever going to get another sequel adaptation. So I was like, all right, I kind of want to see where this story ends. And I think I tried once reading one of them, but I couldn't. So yeah, it just wasn't the same as like watching it animated. But now, is it bad that I really don't remember what Kyo's choice was? But I guess it's like a big spoiler if you told me, right? So you could probably tell me later.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, yeah, I guess so. Yeah, I mean,
I'm just gonna take your word for it.
I mean, I think the plot of the movie is very straightforward, so to speak. Like, it's a pretty bare bones plot, but it's executed really well. So, I mean, I would say like, if you remember the plot, you kind of remember his choice, but you know,
all right, I'll look at a synopsis.
Yeah. It's not, it's really like,
Listen,
it's
it can't be as big of a spoiler as Haruhi disappearing, you know.
Yeah,
for the
nothing
movie.
tops that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's just like another great example of how like, if you write it down on paper, it seems kind of mundane and not very impressive, but the way it's presented is so like bombastic and impressive and like emotionally engaging.
Yeah.
And that's kind of like the Kyoto Animation special sauce. Like they tackle some things that on paper might seem mundane or not very impressive, and they elevate it to such a way that you kind of get the same emotional experience in fiction as you would experiencing it in real life, you know? Because we have a lot of mundane experiences in our own lives that might not seem that impressive if you just describe them, but the way when we live and experience them, they feel, you know, life-changing. Yeah.
I mean, I think a good example of that is, you know, A Silent Voice.
Yeah, that one has, if I'm going mundane, the life-changing, I'd probably go like KyoAni or something.
I mean, yeah.
A Silent Voice is a bit more like on paper, that's like actually sounds bad too. But like they do good with both, but A Silent Voice has some things where you're like, no, this is some big shit.
I know it is some big shit, but I escalated too quick. I mean, we could go with KyoAni. So actually, speaking of KyoAni, I had never watched KyoAni at all, like since it came out, never touched it. I don't know why. I think I just either missed that season, I just never got around to it, and I wasn't interested until this week. And I finished season 1.
Nice.
Unfortunately, I started season 2, but I couldn't finish it. So I'm still really the breadth of my KyoAni experience is just season 1. But you know, I enjoyed it. It was good.
That's cool. Did you have fun? You had a lot of fun with it, or?
Yeah, no, it was cool. Like it was hard to binge because you know, like not a lot happens in the show. But like I think the value or what was good about the show is those little moments of the girls and the characters spending time together, and it really puts a lot of emphasis on that. Like you know, because like they're being constantly told like, oh, we got to practice, we should practice, but they don't want to practice. They just want to eat cake and drink tea. But then it kind of shows that why it's more important that they're taking their time and kind of spending time with each other as opposed to, you know, I don't know, spending all their time trying to reach an end goal when the point is that they're kind of making memories and enjoying their time together. And that actually helps them, you know, play better.
Yeah.
So, I don't know how realistic that is, but
yeah.
But for the story, it works really well.
Yeah. One of my favorite episodes of all time is the performance episode they have, where, you know, Yui is supposed to be the singer for their performance at the school festival, and she comes down with laryngitis because she was practicing all night. So she's like croaking like the whole time, like she's just croaking and can't sing anything. So then it falls to Mio to perform, and Yui sings background vocals. And the way they start the performance, it actually is like surprisingly legit sounding, and it almost looks like a music video. And you're kind of like transported to this like fantastical music video setting of them like driving and being badasses and being in a band kind of.
Yeah.
And Mio is singing perfectly. Her voice actress has an amazing voice, and it sounds just like this really professional sounding end product. And then you hear Yui croaking in the background, ruining it completely. Like she did not need to sing any background voices because she can't sing because she's just croaking the whole time. And I'm like, yeah, this is KyoAni. They can't let it sound too good because there's just a band in high school having fun at their cultural festival. So no matter how good they sound, they're still just like an amateur band in high school having fun with their friends. But I remember watching that and I was like vibing to the song, Fa Time, absolute banger. And it's just like Yui in the background being like every time there's just like, it's so bad, but so funny. And I love it.
Yui is so precious, but useless, but precious. Adorable.
I don't think I think at the time I was like, yo, this is me. This is me. This is me. And she's definitely like hit or miss for some people because some people they can't truly appreciate slacking off and having a good time as much as I can. But I can truly appreciate slacking off and just vibing.
I mean, I'm not going to lie. I kind of resonated with Yui a bit. So that's why I give her a pass.
Yeah, she is our personality type.
I mean, like the point where she was like kind of playing her guitar to herself and like, I don't know, they were just saying like, I think they figured out that I think Azusa figured out that she doesn't really know the notes or doesn't know kind of anything, but she's good for some reason.
Yeah.
And she's just like, yeah, I'm just sort of fucking around with this thing. And then and it just comes to her.
Yeah.
And like
yeah.
most of the time she's just slacking off. But then when she gets like focused, she's really focused. So I don't know. It reminded me of like my own process. I'm like, maybe I just need to chill out more. And then the thing will come to me.
I remember in bands, like it was a big thing where you're supposed to kind of like count while playing. And when I was in band, I would just kind of like listen to everyone else playing and I would know when to come in then. And like after hearing someone else play my part, I could kind of replicate the rhythm of it. Yeah. And that kind of reminded me of like Yui's process where she's just like, nah, I just, I know the notes and then I play it because guitar, the name for her guitar is guitar. And then she's like, yeah, we just have fun with it. And I was like, oh, that's just like me. Like neither of us should have been doing it like that, but we're just having a good time and it's worth it in the end.
Yeah, because sometimes you can like overthink the crap out of something, and sometimes maybe your process is more of just vibing, and then you kind of just pick up on it instead of having to like, I don't know. It made me appreciate like the value of one, slowing down, and two, kind of just hanging out with your friends and just sort of just enjoying time with them. So
yeah, I think most people tend to like season 2 the most. KyoAni, 2 exclamation points, not 1.
Yeah.
So hopefully you're in for some more enjoyable content. I think most people would agree that the like heights of the series happened during season 2. So
yeah, like I really wanted to finish it. I really wanted to get through it, but then I was like, I'm not going to make it in time. So I'm like, you know what? Maybe this is better if I kind of watch it at my own pace. So
yeah,
I'm excited for those highs. But season 1 is your favorite, right?
Yeah, but like I weirdly enjoy the comedic aspects of KyoAni to the dramatic aspects, but not like, I don't think the dramatic or serious moments are bad. I just love it for the comedic aspects more.
No, I do think those are its best moments. Like there are some moments in the first season that had me like really laughing. So
yeah, I appreciate KyoAni as like, a lot of people say I can't watch it because they don't do anything, and I'm like, don't think of it as like they're not doing anything. Think of your favorite sitcom. It's kind of like a sitcom, and I appreciate it in those kind of vibes of like, oh, it's a sitcom where like each episode is like kind of related to the other, but they're just having fun doing stuff and you're enjoying the character interactions and,
Yeah, I mean, like I always prioritize shows with like plot and like stuff that kind of like constant twists and things kind of happening that would keep me hooked on it till the end, because those are also really easy to binge, like, with Western TV, Breaking Bad, with anime, Attack on Titan season 3. That's like the most, gripping one I remember. Season 3, part 2. Yeah. That had me on the edge of my seat. So like a show like KyoAni would never like really appeal to me, like, because like I like slice of life, but what makes it hard is when it's hard to binge, it's like, okay, I feel like I'm wasting my time because they're not doing anything. But when I was watching KyoAni, I didn't feel that way. Like, it was hard to binge at some points, but it was enjoyable because I felt like, again, everything they're doing is sort of building they're getting to know each other. It's building their dynamic together as a group, and sort of, I don't know. It's all like valuable for what the show's trying to say, which at the end comes together really well at the end of season 1 with Yui kind of like racing back to the concert hall and kind of realizing like, how she didn't know what she wanted to do with her life and what she would do, and now kind of like everything sort of came together. So, and it was just like the value is just kind of doing what she likes and spending time with her friends and giving it her all. So
yeah, vibing with the fam.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that's all I have to say about KyoAni, because I still have the season 2 to watch and the movie. But did you want to touch on those tweets?
Who is your favorite KyoAni? And then we can touch on the tweets.
Let's see. I think I'm just gonna say Yui.
Yes. Win.
I mean, yes. I thought it was gonna be Mio going in, but now it ended up being Yui because like Mio looks cool, but she's just a scaredy cat. So.
Which is funny.
Yeah, no, it's funny, but I don't know. I just got more laughs out of watching Yui do. I actually really enjoy her dynamic with her little sister Ui.
Yeah, that's really sweet. I love that.
It's very adorable.
It's very cute.
That she finds everything she does, all of her laziness, endearing. Like she's just rolling around the house, just doing nothing, asking for ice cream. It's like, she's so cute, isn't she? She's warm and sweet, right?
And everyone's like, make her do things.
Yeah, exactly. But, she also sees all the good points in her, which is like, when she gets really focused on something, she'll go like out of her way and stuff like that. So like, I can relate to that.
I feel that. I think it's a good message. So we have some comments from people I saw in chat. I cannot ignore this. It looks like Jack Under the Scope, friend of the show, does not like Yui, which means he doesn't like me, and I will take that personally. So that makes me sad. Thoughts and prayers.
Does that mean, so if he doesn't like Yui, is he a friend of the show?
I don't know. We'll find out. We'll find out if Jack is able to overcome that.
We need him to come on, special guest, just an episode where we, just clear the air. So
we're gonna both dress up as Yui and be like, "How does this make you feel?"
Yeah, how does this make you feel?
Yeah. But speaking of KyoAni and other thoughts on KyoAni, so we asked before when we sent out a tweet saying like, "Hey, we're talking about Kyoto Animation Works." We asked some people, as in you, we asked everyone. Follow us on Twitter if you don't already at JustWeebsPod. We asked you guys what Kyoto Animation Works, made a huge impact on your lives. And some of the comments we got were relating to KyoAni, which I love to see. Tay said, KyoAni made me a better person and more appreciative of the time I get to spend with friends and people and sincerely enjoying fun things, which is, kind of a playoff on fun things are fun, possibly the most, iconic quote from the series, which we love to see. And then we have another comment from KyoAni, from Mr. Subject, saying, KyoAni helped teach me to enjoy the little things in life and look back at my high school experiences with a much more positive light. Taught me that it was okay to slow down and enjoy the fun parts of life, that life was more than just finding a career path and making money. And I agree. KyoAni is fun. Life is more about than just making money. It's about podcasting about KyoAni. That's what it means in life.
You get it. That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's a very relaxing show to watch in that sense. I did hear it's like considered an iyashike, so it's like supposed to have that healing aspect.
I heard that too, and I don't know if I buy into that as much. But
yeah, I don't know if it's completely. I think it has those elements. But
yeah, I think it could work. I mean, it's not probably. I probably wouldn't categorize it, but if other people did, I wouldn't blame them for that. And I don't mean that in a. I don't mean that positively or negatively towards iyashike or KyoAni. I just think of it in more of my own mental, categorization system.
Yeah, I happened to see it and I was I squinted and I'm like, is it? I don't know, maybe. I think as a secondary effect, I think, kind of the relaxed vibe of it could make you feel okay, But I don't think it's out to do that. Tay said in the chat, it's more comedy than iyashike. So
that's how I feel. Iyashike to me, I think of Eurocamp, Aria.
Yeah.
Those are what I think of with the iyashike, and I think of KyoAni as comedy.
Exactly.
Yeah. So that's just our vibes. After all, we're just weebs. That's just how we feel.
So what KyoAni work do you feel the most strongly about?
Me?
Yeah, you.
It's such a question. Okay, so my big three. I like saying my big three for Kyoto Animation, even though I might as well have a big five. That's kind of bad. But I'm gonna say top three, as in these are the Kyoto Animation works that appear in my favorites. So third would be Clannad, A Silent Voice, After Story, Clannad, After Story. I don't know why I was mixing those up. KyoAni, and then A Silent Voice.
Okay. I can't talk about Clannad because still haven't watched it. Was going to, but I couldn't do 2 seasons.
I felt bad because Onimaru, I was like, oh, these are my favorite Kyoto Animation works. And I think you had seen A Silent Voice. And the others were all long series. And I was like, okay, I feel bad. You don't have to watch all of these to talk about these. But
at least I got to KyoAni.
Yeah, one of the big three.
I haven't experienced Tamako Market or After. No, yeah.
Love Story.
Love Story, sorry.
Yeah.
No, but you just said After Story for Clannad.
Yeah, we get one of my favorite Reddit posts of all time is someone was like, is there a Clannad before Story? I was like,
also, I do have to say I'm committing blasphemy here to replay value in the chat. I have not watched Hyoka. I've heard great things.
Hyoka, so you did kind of inadvertently mention my big five. The other two rounding out the big five Kyoto Animation works for me, besides A Silent Voice, KyoAni, Clannad After Story. We also got Hyoka, and we have Tamako Love Story. Those are my big five. So those are my ride or die Kyoto Animation works.
Okay. All right. I think I need to get on those.
And it's really cool to say that they, despite all having somewhat similar, like grounded subject matters, they're all very different works from each other. Very different in very cool ways. And I love to say that because a lot of people, I think, are under the misconception that, high school slice of life, or at least Kyoto Animation slice of life, is all kind of like, it either looks the same, which is not really true, and then, they kind of think it's similar. And all of them take very different approaches to their subject matter, which make them, refreshing experiences every time you start a new series.
Yeah, because Hyoka's like a mystery, right? It's more of a mystery.
It's like grounded. Yeah, it's cool. It's like grounded mysteries of like more like everyday mysteries. Like, how did we get locked in this room?
Gotcha.
How did this happen? Or like small things of like how did this occur? But it's not like, people dying. It's just like small incidents happening, which has some of like my favorite visuals from Kyoto Animation in general, like period. Some of the best like symbolic imagery, just like absolutely fantastic approach. It has a very muted color palette too. It's like very cool, very kind of different from a lot of other series. I would highly recommend it to anyone. I don't know. I think Kyoka could also be like, if you're not a fan of like K-On, so to speak, if you're not like a K-On type of fan, Kyoka would be like my answer to like check that out, because it's very different from K-On. But if you like both, you might like both too. It's just very different approaches.
Yeah, I mean, I'm interested in checking it out. Always meant to get around to it, but it's cool that KyoAni has like sort of different, like you said, different takes on slice of life, capturing different aspects. Now, how did you feel, because it wasn't in your top 5, Violet Evergarden?
I really like Violet Evergarden, but it didn't really click with me as much as the other ones I mentioned. Possibly not of any fault of its own. I watched it airing, which generally does not make something a favorite of mine. It's like I generally enjoy binging something to watching it weekly. But nevertheless, I think Violet Evergarden is a very beautiful show, possibly the best technical TV animation.
Yeah, I think on a technical level, it's like the most beautiful. One of the most beautiful KyoAni shows. Yeah,
and I do have to appreciate that it tackles a setting outside of high school, which I don't like. I'm not saying like it's better because it's not high school, but it is a bit different.
But it is a very unique setting,
It's a unique setting, so that's pretty cool. And I think that even if I wouldn't consider Violet Evergarden a favorite, I think episodes 7, the one that's in Onimaru's background, and then episode 10, which everyone remembers as the mom letter episode, those are 2 like of the best episodes of all time.
Those are the episodes that broke me. Episode 10 was just like, oh my god. But I like, one of the hardest things for me, and I know it's like a common criticism of it, so is that a lot of people had trouble like connecting with Violet. I did have that to a certain extent, like her kind of being like emotionless and stuff like that. And I got it. I understood it, but it did make it difficult at times to be invested in her, at least for me. But by the end, I was actually cool with it, because seeing that all of these stories that she experienced, all these people that she helped, like kind of shaped her or molded her, and how they affected her by the end was really moving to me. So I actually really enjoyed the ending for the series. So
yeah, I think it's definitely, I was talking to someone about it the other day, and they were like, what kind, for the people who don't like Violet, what's your issue? And I'm like, well, I don't dislike Violet. I just don't like her as much as other character types of like, I like saying it as like very distinct type of personality moving to another distinct type of personality. And I think her general development is a bit more of like the, like stoic, not very emotional, becoming a bit more emotional. And that is definitely a very valid character type and very valid character development type. But it's just one that I don't really connect with as much. So I think they executed it well. It was just like never going to hit with me as much as something else I've experienced, like another character type,
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't say like, again, she's not my favorite character, but by the end, I like what they were trying to do it was pretty beautiful, especially with hard hitters like episode 7 and episode 10.
Yeah, and I think we're both speaking of it as like, we don't really even have like negative we're not like negative thoughts on it. It's just a matter of like good versus very good.
I still really want to see the movie though. So
me too. I haven't seen the movie yet. I want to see that. And then I'm sure that's going to be gorgeous too. I don't know if my eyes are ready to see such perfection. So I'm going to have to train up.
Also, Gianni in the chat says Hyoka still looks better than Violet Evergarden.
I would agree, but I didn't want to go there. But yes, I would agree.
Is that a hot take? Is that a hot take?
Not if you've seen Hyoka. So I don't know. So like Violet Evergarden, I think is a bit more detailed, and like you can see it, like the background, like every frame looks like a painting. But I think the actual use of color and visuals in Hyoka is a lot more creative and effective.
Okay, gotcha.
That's how I would phrase it. But both look fantastic in different ways.
Yeah. Again, I think it's more the technical approach that Violet Evergarden takes.
Yeah.
Silent voice.
Silent voice. What are you gonna say? But best to do it.
So, it's a really good film.
It's the best film.
I'm just it's really high up there. I'm just sort of like
we're not saying the same thing. You're like, yeah, like really good. I was like, best of all time, and you're like, yeah, like very good. And I'm like, this is not the same sentence. Sorry.
I mean, it's sort of the same thing,
Kind of, in a way.
I just feel bad because I remember watching both Your Name and A Silent Voice that same year. And I just liked Your Name better. And I know everyone's going to leave now.
This is not the time. This is not the time to bring up Your Name. Because one of my things. No, I mean, no, totally valid to like Your Name. But I think in the year of our Lord 2021, how many years it's been? They both came out in 2016. Because we live in the US, we couldn't watch them until like 2017. Thank you, distributions. But now I think we are able. I would do this too. I would compare the two of them too. As soon as one person brought up one, I would bring up the other and vice versa. But I think now we have moved past the point where we need to bring them up in the same sentence when we bring them up.
Yeah. No,
and I would do it. I'm guilty of it. I'm guilty of it too. But I've had to make it like an effort to be like, Your Name is the conversation. Don't bring up Silent Voice. Don't bring up Silent Voice. And then vice versa. Like,
no, I hate that I brought it up. That's why it was like, JK.
If it wasn't, I would probably
I'm walking
do
it back.
Too.
I mean, like, the comparison is only made because they came out the same year, but they're two completely different movies. And honestly, I think A Silent Voice I think Your Name probably has objectively more flaws than, Your Name has objectively more flaws than A Silent Voice. But I think A Silent Voice was really good. Unfortunately, I only watched it once, so I only watched that one time, and it was just very heavy.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I could definitely see the use for like, Your Name is kind of that movie that like when it's on TV, you can put it on whenever. I've yet to see that happening because I would love to just have like a channel that plays anime films and I could just put it on. But like, I think Your Name is a bit more like approachable in terms of just like casually watching something. Whereas with The Silent Voice, like, you're getting into it. You're like, okay, I'm going to feel bad and possibly cry. But I hadn't really connected with an anime film as strongly as A Silent Voice since Wolf Children. And I was kind of like watching a lot of films, kind of wondering like, will I get to the point that I got to with Wolf Children? And then A Silent Voice came out and I was like, yeah, this really lived up to the hype. I think it really connected with me on just like every level. And I've rewatched it about 4 or 5 times. Mm-hmm. So I've seen it a lot. I own it. I couldn't even get it. Like, I don't know if other people remember because it is 2021. It like didn't come out for a while. So I got like this like bootleg Chinese version that has like English subtitles, but I got like, I mean, it's legal somewhere, but it was definitely not.
It's legal somewhere, so it's okay.
It's valid in China, but this was like before 11 Arts came out and released it. And then they came out with
I think I had to find it online somewhere in order to watch it. That's how I watched it. So
yeah, I was just like, give it to me. Give me the Blu-ray. And now it's on Netflix, so we're kind of vibing. But yeah, it was. I saw it in theaters. I saw it at home. Like I saw it everywhere I could, and I showed it to everyone. I showed it to everyone I could.
I mean, I just feel like it handled the subject matter so well, like, and it was done really well, and the way they portrayed everything. I just think, and I'm just speaking from the initial viewing, I only watched that one time. I think from what I vaguely remember, I just felt like it just sort of ended, and I was like, I don't know. I just felt a little bit like empty.
Well, I do love how it ended. I think the 2 times I cried the most during the film. The first one that gets me every time is after the big event. I'm not spoiling it.
Really quick, under the scope said he had to log in to chat to clear his name. He loves Yui, so someone was lying.
Someone was KyoAni.
He is now reinstated as a friend of the show.
Friend of the show. Never doubted him for a second. Thank you, Jack, under the scope.
And sorry for cutting you off. Back to what you were saying.
It's okay. That was worth it. Having like war in our chat over Yui, which is worth it because she's perfect. Yeah, so I cry when they're in the hospital scene. It's the younger sister apologizing to the mom. That's about as vague as I'm gonna get. And then at the end, when Ishida like looks around and like all the X's drop and they're playing like the gorgeous music and he does the ear thing, and then I cry again. So fantastic scenes just across the board. I think it's possibly the like perfect anime film. Practically perfect. It's my favorite. It's a 10 out of 10. It's one of 3 anime films I've given a 10 out of 10, and I'm glad it exists so I can show it to everyone.
I think I gave it a 10 out of 10.
I think
I did. I don't know. I mean, like, I definitely either gave it a 10 or a 9. I'm pretty sure I gave it a 10.
Yeah. We will find out.
I just think, like, I just prefer Your Name, but I still think really highly of A Silent Voice. But hey, if I rewatch it now, I might just be like, hey, Your Name is trash. Who knows?
I don't know. You have Your Name as your second favorite in your favorites list, so I don't think that's happening. I'm just going to shot in the dark that one.
We'll see. People change. even though I made those favorites like a month ago.
KyoAni's trying to guess my favorite anime films, and it's Wolf Children, A Silent Voice, and Fireworks. And no, I've not seen Fireworks, and I don't think I've seen
Silent Voice. Okay.
Fireworks is that one that like everyone was slandering for. Yeah, like,
doesn't everyone hate that movie?
I think I haven't seen it, but no, no, it's not that one. 10 points to anyone who can get it who's not Tay. Tay knows, but
So, consensus on A Silent Voice being a great film. If you haven't watched it, watch it. Let us know what you think, and watch Your Name too, and just kind of compare the two, and then let us know bombard our Twitter with your detailed review.
Speaking of which, back to the Twitter comments we got. Dwarfy said, "A Silent Voice for me really encouraged me to stop beating myself up for mistakes I had done in the past and start moving forward and being a better person now. Also, partially being deaf as a kid and working with deaf people a lot, I love how well it portrays being deaf. So that's also really cool to see that it handles that subject matter well for people who are impacted by it." So
yeah, that's awesome. Like, I love when you watch these films, and a lot of times, at least for most people, you probably don't have personal experience with what's going on, but you can kind of understand. You can empathize or sympathize, from understanding the subject matter. But it's really cool when you have felt like that the film actually deals with something you've personally felt in your life, and then it sort of gives you a voice, makes you feel represented. So
not really very awesome. Silent Voice.
I was trying. In my head, I realized it, but I didn't want to do it. And you had to.
I'm sorry. I ruined everything. You're giving a voice to all the jokes that should stay silent.
Trying to be serious.
I'm trying to be serious about this topic, and I'm like, not on my watch.
All right.
But yeah.
So, I think. Do you have anything to say about Dragon Maid? I know that's actually currently relevant.
It is. So I have not seen season 2 yet, so I'm not going to comment on it because one of the I guess perks of being in visual novel hell is not being able to comment on airing shows. So
I mean, that's what I love about binging stuff. When I'm binging stuff, I just don't care about anything currently airing. So
yeah,
I'm in my own little hole, just trying to catch up to something.
Don't let me out of my zone. So yeah, I loved season 1 of Dragon Maid. I think Dragon Maid is like another like really unique series that I will say it has some really sus elements that bring it down, but overlooking the sus elements that I just don't want to talk about because I don't want to focus on the negative. Yeah. I don't want to focus on the negative parts of it. I wanted to focus on the really compelling emotional parts about growing up, being adult, finding family. Those are all things that people can relate to. One of my favorite quotes is, I think it's in the middle of it, because Toru and Kobayashi, they have a really great dynamic and great relationship. And it's kind of like Kobayashi has kind of come to terms with being an adult, but is a bit disillusioned with their life. Whereas Toru is kind of like trying to go out and be an adult on their own, so to speak. I think I think that's the general gist of season 1.
Yeah.
But they were kind of wondering, how do you, when do you know you're grown up? And Kobayashi has a great quote saying, no one really wants to grow up. They just realize they can't be a child anymore. And I think that's one of the best quotes on adulthood I've heard. And it's very simple, very to the point, but it's very poignant. And I think it's very authentic. And I think that's just generally the Maid Dragon vibe is there's a lot of goofiness and quirkiness and funny aspects, but at its heart, has a very compelling message.
Yeah.
Also worth noting, Kana is the cutest thing alive. I feel happiness whenever I see Kana. I think I watched the Kana saying Ame Ame in the rain. I think there's a 10-hour video of that. I think I watched half an hour straight. I didn't watch the full 10 hours.
Legitimately adorable.
But close. She's so cute. And
she's she has no right to be that adorable, but
she's so cute. I just cannot. I'm so glad she exists. Someone will be like, she's not real. I'm like, I don't care. I'm glad she's come into existence somehow. And she said my name in one of the most recent episodes.
I saw that. I saw it when I was watching the episode. It was awesome. I was like, I couldn't believe it. I was like,
I'm so happy I exist.
I wish my name was said by some anime character that I can kind of clip, but no, that was.
I feel like they might say Oni. Maybe Oni.
No, there's actually a character named Onimaru in I think One Piece, but it hasn't been animated yet, so we'll get there.
Well, thanks. I mean, I got lucky because Senjo Gahara said Shaking, and then Kana said Shaking. So 2 best girls saying my name. We taking wins. But what do you think about Maid Dragon?
I mean, really quick, Tom says, me and Shaw love that quote. Respect. That's actually a really good quote. I did not remember that one, and that's actually a really, really good one. It has a lot of moments of wisdom or insight, Dragon Maid, and I think it's because of its vibe. But it actually has when you think about it, it has a really unique concept, because when it first came out, it was like, what the hell is this?
Yeah.
Not in a bad way, but just the whole Dragon Maid and sort of just, other dragons kind of coming along and them kind of living together, and then it's sort of unexpectedly turning into this, little tight-knit family. And then just kind of learning to live together and just kind of having fun and weird hijinks. But it was always aside from the moments we talked about, it was always sort of, funny and enjoyable and very heartwarming. And Kana is a big part of that. But aside from that, the moments between Kobayashi and Toru and just sort of them kind of just being accepting of each other and kind of navigating kind of adulthood and stuff like that. So
yeah, I think it's also just definitely worth watching. It's a fun time. I just really appreciate it, and I think any type of theme about reforming family connections with people who might not necessarily be your blood related family is really wholesome and good to see, good to watch, to help communicate to people that you can find a place you belong, no matter who it's with.
Yeah. I mean, I don't have a ton to say about the show. I'm currently watching season 2. It's kind of continuing those themes, so that's really nice. But again, I think, it was just kind of a solid, really nice show, and with a good vibe. I think, would you say Kobayashi's more no, I guess it's more comedy too. It's like more of that Iyashike kind of vibe? Probably not.
I'd say it's more comedy, but I think you could, it has those elements. I think almost every Kyoto animation work has Iyashike elements, but I wouldn't consider it an Iyashike.
Yeah, because I think that, again, they focus on those little moments kind of in life, even though they have these otherworldly concepts sometimes, but it comes back down to the day-to-day and kind of giving it a positive tone, or just something, kind of makes you realize the good things about life.
Yeah, definitely.
So I want to talk about Sound Euphonium, because I feel that's beloved to a lot of people and special to a lot of people.
I guess my 6th favorite Kyoto animation work, which sounds bad. It sounds bad, but I love the series. I have a lot of love for Hibike Euphonium, and I think it's pretty fantastic.
Yeah. It was funny because you were commenting on how we scored it the same thing.
We scored it the same and said completely different things. Once again, just like our silent voice thing, where we're
not saying the same thing, are we? We're not. I don't know. I just feel like it could possibly be this, or maybe I just got to reevaluate my scoring system. But I just feel like a lot of people that loved Sound Euphonium like really loved it and really connected with it, and it was like probably like a 9 or a 10 for them, and I just didn't feel like that same level of intensity. I thought it was a great show. I think I gave it an 8, and but I just didn't feel like I connected it with it that much, and kind of that feeling of FOMO, like I don't feel what they're feeling is, or like what is it that I'm missing, what is that piece, made me feel like probably more down on it than you are, Shao. You're like, well, I gave it an 8 and I love it, so.
Yeah, I think I just didn't have as many expectations for it. I think I watched it because Tay told me to watch it. We had one of our many anime contracts, and this was like a big like Kyoto Animation one on my side, and I had already seen people post a lot about it, but I just didn't really have expectations for it. So when I went into it and really had a good time with it, I was like not surprised, but I was like, yeah, this is legit. This is worth the hype. This is really good stuff. But I think when we talked about it a bit in DMs, I think we realized that Kumiko is kind of the make or break connection piece for people. Yeah, and it sounds like you didn't connect with her much, but I love her, and I think she's one of the best main characters ever.
I don't feel that. And it's not like I'm trying to put her down. I just I didn't feel that watching it because I just felt like I couldn't wrap my head around her motivations or what. Like, I don't know, like, or what her issue was as a character, her central dilemma. And I guess that's what it was, that she lacked motivation, I guess.
Yeah, so I think of it this way. Maybe this will help reframe it. But once I realized this, it kind of clicked for me. You know how we have a lot of, like, everyman characters, just in fiction in general? She's the best I can think of for an every woman character in fiction. She's not too extreme. She's not too, like, pathetic. She's not too depressed. She's just kind of there, and she's not really feeling motivated. So she's kind of impacted by a lot of the experiences around her. So you get to see someone who isn't really that motivated, but is kind of like, making their way through the beginning of high school. And then they meet Reina and experience her passion for trumpet and band and kind of get inspired by that, as well as her interactions with Asuka in season 2. It really kind of brings everything together. But I think she's just such an organic character of someone who realizes how important it is to have a goal and be passionate for things in life. So,
and then you love her because of that role that she plays, of like how she plays off of everyone else, being kind of just the average sort of person that doesn't have the same aspirations as everyone else, but she's kind of along for the ride.
But then she does get aspirations. I think the way she kind of forms her own aspirations, especially the one scene where it's like the I want to improve scene, which is one of the best made scenes ever. When she's running through the streets, realizing that she does want to be as good as everyone else. She does want to, play with passion in band. She does want to have those like impactful performances. I think seeing all of that come to life is really inspiring too. But she does really capture that adolescent kind of finding themselves, but also not being too, she's not an emotionalist character. She has a lot of personality, even if she's not very distinct in other aspects. She does have that kind of sarcasm and wit to her. And she's not just kind of like a depressing blob moving through life. She just feels like a very authentic person that I think a lot of people can relate to in general.
Yeah, I mean, like at certain points, she felt like a little too snarky. But I guess that's because I wasn't.
Can never have enough snark.
That's true. It's like, you don't want to be here, so why are you here? But it's but she actually did care, and she wanted to do something. She just had trouble finding it out. But that, and I also was probably just really entranced by best girl Asuka. So
Asuka the queen.
I felt like she needed more screen time. So.
Well, I'm glad she kind of didn't get as much screen time, but because like it works well to build up to her arc in season 2.
Oh, that was a great episode. That whole once you kind of get her backstory and all of that.
Yeah.
So
Asuka is fantastic. I think it's kind of rare that you get a true neutral character in a slice of life series, but I really vibe with her just being like, look, I'm here for my goal. I cannot get caught up in your petty bullshit. Like, I do not care how you sort this out. You guys might be my friends, but I don't care this much. You guys got to sort your shit out. And I think we've all had those moments, even if we're not as upfront and ruthless about it, but I respect it. I respect her, and I respect her character a lot. I think she's just fantastic.
Yeah, no, she's super cool. I mean, I named my car after her, so yeah. My car is named Asuka.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
I don't think it's after that, Asuka.
No, it is, because my car is black. It's a black car, and if it was red, I could justify the Asuka that I wanted. But I'm like, you know what? Other Asuka, black-haired Asuka.
Yeah, both great. Asuka named characters keep hitting, so I think she's great, and I think might have to be. I think I like the way Hibike Euphonium looks a bit more than I like how Violet Evergarden looks.
Oh, really? Okay.
I do. I think it's something, character designs, the way they're all presented. It's just like when I look at that, I'm like blown away. Not that I'm not blown away with Violet Evergarden. I just like the aesthetic of Hibike Euphonium a bit more.
Doesn't Hibike Euphonium have more of because like Violet Evergarden has more of the wide shot to focus on the background and the scenery, and Hibike Euphonium, since it's more about like the school and the characters and their feelings, it has more of the close-ups. The focus is on the instruments. The focus on like Taki Sensei kind of, moving his hands.
He's great too. He's great too.
No, he's
great. The budget smile.
Yeah.
Have you heard of that scene with like the one Reina smile in season 1? That's just like the most breathtaking smile of all time.
Oh, okay.
You've definitely seen it.
I know I've seen it. I just haven't. I don't think
it's called budget smile, where they're like they broke the budget to make her smile.
Oh, okay.
That's like
I get
how
it now.
the meme comes from. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I thought Sound Euphonium was great. I think contrary to other people, I did enjoy the third movie.
I didn't see it yet.
I saw it at AX, so it was good. I mean, like, I think the common criticism that it was like they were like condensing like a whole season's worth of stuff into one movie. So obviously that, there's only so much you could cover, and it felt like super fast. But I was like, this was good pacing to me. I don't know. So, I mean, I thought it was a good ending, although I think it's going to be getting a season 3.
Yeah, so I think it's supposed to wrap up their second year.
No, the season 3 is I think
the movie.
Yeah, that wraps up their second year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't get to check. Did you see Liz and the Bluebird?
So that's my next thing.
You saw it.
I just watched it today.
Oh wow!
I literally just finished it 3 hours ago. So
I didn't know this, guys. I have no idea what he's gonna say. So this is a real time reaction.
Yeah, because I was like, all right, I probably can't finish KyoAni season 2, but I think I have enough, to form some of an opinion on it. I gotta get to Liz and the Bluebird, because I've heard so many things for years and I just never got to it. So
okay, so we're on thin ice because you're our last hope. So we might get reported depending on what you say.
Listen, because you don't like Liz and the Bluebird.
No, don't say that. How could you say
you
it
hate
like
Liz
that?
and the Bluebird, right?
No, I don't.
Yeah, because in the DMs
saying?
you were like, it's like, no, I'm just kidding.
It's like we're gonna get deleted. No, I think it's a decent film, but I did not connect with it as much as other people. But I respect why everyone loves it.
Here's my thing with Liz and the Bluebird. So, and this might not sound good, but hear me out. Hear me out. Like let me
this
finish.
Won't sound good, but I'm gonna say it.
Let me finish. But when I was like watching it, I mean, it had a really good intro when it started off. That was those first 5 minutes, and how it makes you like follow all the movements, like with the camera and the, focusing on certain things. Like it was really good at the whole like body language, like no dialogue needed to kind of understand what it was getting at and what the focus is. Like what as
like the character animation and the character direction.
Like what as the viewer you're supposed to be looking at and getting a sense of the character's feelings. But like sort of like, and then the story part where it would go to the storybook and the animation would completely change to look more like a storybook. The actual
Liz and the Bluebird story.
Yes.
A fictional story within the story, yeah.
Yeah, I thought like on a character design and animation level was like really brilliant, really nice, had a good like kind of rhythm to it. Music was good. But like I guess sort of towards the middle, like the problem I kept having was I kept pausing it. And I just wanted to go like straight through, but like I would just keep having like other things on my mind, and it also could have been the mood, the day. Like I just also felt like, well, I gotta finish this movie, and the movie has this slow kind of pacing, like kind of like really slow pacing, because it's it's building up to something. Everything that's happening is important. I'm not gonna say it wasn't. I get that it was building towards it, but it's very character focused and all that I have to keep like pausing. So I had a hard time getting back to it. And that's the only thing. But I do think that the eventual payoff finally, was really, really worth it. And that's when I like really connected with it. So
cool. That sounds good.
Yeah.
Sounds good. So you thought so did you think it was good or?
I think it was good. I think it was really good. I feel like I guess the one bad thought I had like at some point during the film is this, but this is just me being curious, and I like, because I'm just used to looking at my YouTube videos. I'm like, I wonder what the retention rate on this would be.
Like the retention rate on the film?
Yeah, like I wonder like if people that aren't like as like are more wanting action or wanting things that to be constantly happening, like where would be the drop off point be for them? Like at what point were they? So I was just kind of curious about that. Would they check it out
in the first place? You know.
What was that?
Or would they check it out in the first place?
Yeah, because it was like a slow build, so that was just kind of interesting me. But more towards the end, I think like it really kind of hit me when the two characters finally got to speak to each other about their feelings, and even then they were still a little restrained, a little bit about what they got to say. But I think that's just their dynamic and kind of how it presented all of that, how it executed. I can't say it was bad. I thought it was that's really well done, and also the animation and kind of everything else kind of flowing together.
Yeah, definitely. I think a lot of people definitely like just like inherently click with it, which I think is cool because it's such a experimental film, definitely a very unique experience. So I think it's really cool that so many people love it. I definitely kind of wish I felt the same way, but I think it kind of misses a lot of the character work that I appreciated from the original Hibike series, because I do love Hibike for the character writing, and I don't think Liz and the Bluebird was as strong in that category, but I also think people don't necessarily like it for that. I think they like it for the direction and overall message, which is fair enough. I think that's a fair point, way of looking at it in a different way.
That's the tough part for me too, because like, again, it does an excellent job of illustrating a lot of the emotions and stuff without saying too much, you know, just kind of, again, with the direction and kind of focusing on Mizore and the other girl, Nozomi. But like the other thing is like it is hard to be invested in them, because even in Sound Euphonium, I wasn't really invested in them as a dynamic, and I kind of wasn't like too much invested in them as characters. But again, the way it was presented was really good. So
yeah, I just thought of it now. I realized if they did like a film like that, but for Kumiko and Reina, I'd probably love it.
Yeah.
Like if they changed the characters who were involved, I probably love that even more. But I think just on its own and based on the season 2 content, I don't think I could connect with the characters enough to, you know, fully be invested in their character drama.
I think the most resonant moment, I think like the whole interplay, drawing parallels to the Liz and the Bluebird story was really, really good. And I feel like where it really hit was because, okay, I guess this is a spoiler. I don't know. I predicted at some point that I'm like, wait, what if it's setting it up that you feel like, okay, this girl's Liz and this girl's the Bluebird, but then it's like, oh, it's going to be the opposite. And I'm like, I think that's what it's going to like lead up to. And then like towards later, I'm like, okay, it was something along those lines. And then when it kind of flips it on its head and they have the whole like solo performance at the end and like you kind of see the bird visual of her like flying away. I'm like, that's when it really hit. I'm like, oh, this is really good.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
That was really, really well done. So I really like that. And
yeah, for sure.
To back me up here, Kaze Talk says, I think Liz is a masterwork, which is also Yamada's brilliance. It's how she makes a scene that almost has nothing happening, have so much happening underneath, you can't help but feel everything. And I think that's what it excels at.
Very true. Yeah.
But if you're looking for something else like more plot driven, I think it just probably wouldn't be for you.
Yeah, but it's cool. I think, well, I'm glad you checked it out and could have some good commentary on it, because it's like, I definitely agree with what you're saying. So I think it's cool to actually break it down and like what we think worked and what like really makes it special for people.
Yeah, and you're just saying like it just was the character work wasn't as fleshed out for you to be able to enjoy it, right?
Well, I did enjoy it. I feel like it just kind of, I think the people who love it, it's like their favorite thing of all time. And I'm like, okay, I think it's like pretty solid, but I'm not feeling as passionate about it. So I pale in comparison.
So
but
it's like how I felt about Sound Euphonium.
Kind of, yeah, kind of.
Yeah.
But I feel like you were still a bit more positive on Sound Euphonium.
Yeah, you're just like, Liz mid. That's what you're.
I did not. I've never said. Well, I probably said that once, but no, I wouldn't say. No, I wouldn't say it's mid. I think it's a like decent story. I think it's decent overall, but it does have flashes of brilliance that I can really appreciate in a vacuum. But overall, it just doesn't have the elements of the main series that made me feel connected to Hibike. But
yeah, I get that. I mean, like the one thing I really did enjoy, or I don't know, it was cool. Like I noticed was like how like they changed the character designs up, like where you looked really at Kumiko, you looked at Reina, and they looked like more, I don't know, less detailed. Like they still look
more
good.
Sketchy.
Yeah, like it was just more like you could tell like they're not the mains in this series, and it was cool like flipping that perspective. Like, okay, obviously Nozomi and Mizore are the focus. It's like self-contained. So these characters are just periphery characters, and their design reflected how periphery they looked. So
Yeah.
yeah. So it definitely made me look at it in a different way, as because most of the time I'm like looking at a film or a series, not really for the directing and all that stuff, but more for kind of entertainment or the plot or kind of what's going on and all that stuff. But I think it was a good character work.
Yeah.
And I think that's about it. Was there any other series that was like a big one?
Yeah, of course. We haven't talked about Clannad or Tamako, which are my big ones.
I mean, I don't have much to say. I didn't watch them.
Let me see. Because Tamako, I can talk about Tamako without really spoiling it, but Tamako is really great for how it explores community, because it explores the shopping district in Kyoto, in Japan. And that one's really cool. I think Tamako Market is one of those cases where the main TV series is like pretty cool and decent, but like on its own, it's just like a fun time, and it has some great episodes here and there, but it's not necessarily like, I wouldn't call it K-On! Level of slice of life.
Yeah.
But the characters are all really charming and good, and they do a great job of bringing the theme of community to life. And then Tamako Love Story tackles it as more of like an actual romance, and it's my favorite like pure romance anime related thing in general. I think it's just such a fun time. I think it captures the emotion of like growing up, like not like teenage romance, but like, kind of abandoning your youthfulness but still having feelings of love. And it kind of feels like a cool, I guess it is kind of like a teenage love story.
Pitching it as like one of the best romances of all time is like really, really selling it to me. I have to experience it.
Yeah, I think it's definitely worth checking out. I think it's a really fun time. I think the movie is just so much fun, but like still emotionally resonant. It's just so like lighthearted and fun.
The way you're making it sound is like how you made Haruhi sound. Like you have to watch Tamako Market to get to Tamako Love Story.
But I think it is kind of like that, but they're both really enjoyable experiences.
Yeah. You just kind of like were saying that, again, the slice of life with Tamako Market isn't as enjoyable as like K-On!
Yeah, but I also like love K-On! More than like most things. So I don't take it too like, that's not like an insult by any means. I just think like, I think
K-On! Is special for you.
Yeah, K-On! Is more special. And then, but both are pretty great. I think Tamako is a great main character. She's really fun. It's like both are just really fun. And I think, how we were talking about with the silent voice, how it can be a bit heavier. So you enjoyed Your Name because it's a bit more lighthearted.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of how I feel about like Love Story. It's like a bit more lighthearted than a lot of the romances that are generally considered great. And I appreciate it for that because it still feels really like authentic to romances, but it does have a bit more of a lighthearted view on it. And I appreciate the existence of like a happy romance.
Well, the other reason I enjoyed Your Name, which I didn't say, is because I am a sucker for romance stories. So because Your Name had the romance aspect and a silent voice didn't, because it wasn't about that, and that's fine. That's probably why I preferred it over it. Yeah.
Olga in chat said, I saw Love Story before watching the series and I did not connect with the movie, which is exactly why you watch the TV series and then watch the movie. Is because
that's the order.
It's helpful to watch helpful to know the characters before seeing like the end game of that.
Yeah.
So,
and then your all-time favorite Kyoto animation work is Clannad, right?
No, it was a silent voice.
Okay, so that makes sense. But Clannad is close second.
I don't know. I'm torn because I'm always torn on it because I think
because your favorite some of your favorite characters are from Clannad.
Oh yeah, Tomoya. Oh, Tomoya is like the main character from Clannad. Yeah, he's like my second favorite main character. He's like my fourth favorite overall.
Okay.
Yeah, so he's like one of the best main characters of all time. And in my opinion, which I value. Sorry. Yeah. So I wasn't gonna say like objectively or something. Yeah. So when I was thinking about the way that Kyoto Animation Works really like connected with me, the one that always comes to mind first is Clannad, and that's probably just the most emotionally resonant series I've ever had. I think it really captures the tumultuous state of adolescence, like high school, really perfectly. But then almost more importantly, it captures that transition from your teenage years to being a young adult in such a perfect way that I haven't really seen portrayed in other series. Like nearly to the same degree or effectiveness. I think it just does such a perfect job of illustrating the trials and tribulation of trying to become an adult. And then once you have become an adult, like, what is the main point in which you feel like you're an adult? You know, Maid Dragon says you don't become an adult, you just can't be a child anymore. But I think with Clannad, I think the point that they try to make is you become an adult once you're able to understand the perspectives of other adults. And I think that was just like a huge game-changing, life-altering event for me, was when I was able to understand the perspectives of other adults, specifically my parents, and when I could understand where they were coming from. And I think that is just such a fantastic life lesson that I've taken away from Clannad, along with many other life lessons that I can't mention because of spoilers. But yeah, I think Clannad is just like one of the most emotionally powerful series of all time. I think it's just, I don't know.
And Clannad is more like more the day-to-day slice of life than the other KyoAni works, right? It's more about just sort of them living their lives, kind of growing up, or
yeah, kind of. It's like it's kind of like it is kind of like slice of life drama romance.
Gotcha.
So it started off as a visual novel, and then you can really tell in the first season, you kind of have the like arcs of each character and how they culminate in the end, and then the beginning of After Story still has a few arcs, and then the last arc is the After Story arc, and that's mainly what people praise is the After Story arc, and that's has some of the all-time best moments in fiction.
Yeah, because Clannad was developed by Key. They're the one that did the visual novel, and I only know because I watched Air, and then at the time, like, people would talk about the other visual novels like Canon, and then Clannad, and they were all by Key, and I'm like, and they're all supposed to be quote unquote tier bait. Not that I'm trying to, again, we went over this last week. Call them tier bait, but you know, they make you emotional.
We'll complain about people calling things tier bait, and then we'll call something tier bait, and people are like, no, we don't like that. And we're like, wait, we don't like that either. But it's so easy. Yeah. It's so easy to describe it as that.
I like to feel, so it's cool.
Yeah.
And I do, so I definitely got to get on that one. Definitely some high praise. Because I do appreciate stuff that kind of flips your perspective or makes you kind of realize something about life that you're like, oh, I never thought of it that way.
Yeah, I'll eventually talk about just like why Clannad is so like powerful, but it would require like spoiling the whole thing. So today is not the day. But
we'll have a Clannad pod.
That would be fun. I have to rewatch it, but I really can't. I mean, you guys know, like, you guys have been here, like, you've seen the Pancreas stream. Hopefully, like, you know that, like, I think both of us are in that boat of like, we don't fall victim to many like melodramatic series that, you know, want you to cry. We don't fall victim to too many, but I'm really like that person with Clannad where like I cannot watch the first scene of the first episode without starting to cry. And like it's like pressing a button. I'm just like, you know, like conditioned to start crying.
Like I feel like you're about to start crying just for like talking about it.
No, I was like, no, it's like holding my shit together. But if you start playing the Dango Dango song, like no promises.
Yeah. All right, well, I got to get to it. And you guys let us know if you do want to see a full episode devoted to just Clannad.
I would hope so. If you want to see us cry on stream, just like let us know.
Let's just do like a stream where we just play the Clannad visual novel. Done.
I know. I'm trying to get away from visual novels.
I do want to touch on the only other one that I've seen that I think you haven't seen is Amagi Brilliant Park.
Yeah, save the best for last.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's on that Fumofu level. I mean, maybe, I don't know. Like Amagi Brilliant Park is just really funny. It's just very, very fun.
It names the characters after Kanye West, 50 Cent, and Queen Latifah. So that's a good starting point.
That's how you know. I mean, like I didn't realize that, strangely enough, as I was watching
Did I tell you that?
No, but I just kind of saw it later on, like, wait, and then I went back and like, okay, I appreciate it even more.
Yeah, but I gotta finish it. I started it but didn't finish it, and I have to finish it. But it was pretty funny. So yeah, my Tokyo Podfathers are doing a group watch of it on the Discord. So maybe I'll join in on that. Maybe
you should. I mean, it's really, really funny. It's a really good time. I think it would be really funny to watch it group watch.
Yeah, I could definitely see that.
Yeah.
Speaking of funny, but I have not finished, got to give a shout out to Nichijou, another one of everyone's favorite comedies that is really funny. But I think a lot of people are in my camp where you've seen clips of it out of context, but you've not seen the full series.
Yeah, I've seen the clips out of context. I've heard that it has one of the best like levels of animation for comedy.
Yeah.
So, and like these amazing reactions, I just been meaning to get around to it.
I have to see it too. I have to finish it for my bestie Maz, who loves Nichijou. I've been meaning to get around to it for a while, but I have seen the clip with the deer the principal and the deer is a classic, and then the dropping the octopus. Like, have you seen that where they're eating and they drop the octopus? It's so funny and like ridiculous animation that just like makes it more exciting.
Really quick to Melissa Chavez on the chat. We actually already touched on Hyoka a little earlier, so you can catch that later after the stream. But
Hyoka Goat.
I just to recap, I haven't watched it. Still on my plan to watch list for like forever. Shaw did, loved it.
Goat.
There was talk of Hyoka having better animation than Violet Evergarden, but I
think they just said better visuals.
Better visuals. Leave that up to your discretion.
Yeah.
For no mention of Chunibyo.
It's a good question.
I never watched Chunibyo. I heard about it way later, like years later, so I never got around to it. So
it's on my list as like a, I'm a huge Steins Gate fan, and there's a lot of Chuni aspects.
Yeah. But that's what made me want to like feel like I needed to watch it from a cultural perspective to just understand that more, because it is mentioned in some other anime, the whole Chunibyo syndrome. But I think I got the gist. And also in terms of other KyoAni shows that everyone always recommends, they don't seem to recommend that one as much as some of the others, at least in my experience.
I think it's still pretty well loved though. There's just others to recommend, but I do have to say something that hit me the other day that was not even related to like us recording this was Love Chunibyo and Other Delusions is like one of my all-time favorite titles.
Yeah.
Like I love that as a title, just being like blah blah and Other Delusions. That's such a great way to have a title. So
yeah, it's really quirky.
I love that.
So that's incentive enough to get us to watch it.
It's on my list for sure.
And a good friend of mine watched it years ago. I think he watched it while it was airing. But then I also heard, like, he was saying in the chat that season 2 wasn't as good. So that was kind of like, oh, maybe, I shouldn't check it out. So
yeah, that's funny. The girl has an eye patch, and Amethyst watched another instead of Chunibyo because she was trying to watch Chunibyo, but like they both have eye patches, but one is like, the heartfelt romancing, and the other one is like a horror. They confused
one show for the other.
Yeah, that's so funny.
To Babble in the chat, we did already talk about Fumofu really early on. We talked about Fumofu, Full Metal Panic, and even the second raid. So super funny. If you haven't watched Fumofu, which Shaw hasn't,
I've not.
Watch it.
Yeah. We touched on a lot of these. I haven't seen Lucky Star. You haven't seen Lucky Star?
That's a KyoAni show, isn't it?
It is.
So Lucky Star was one of those that it was like I was around like when the season was airing, and I kind of knew it was there, but I just didn't pick up on it. And I saw that it was popular. Like I think my fiance was watching it at the time while it was airing, and some other people, but it didn't seem like my thing, so I never got into it.
I gotta see it. I feel like that's another got to do it for the cultural milestone.
I feel like, I don't know, is it still relevant in the culture now? Like I feel like it was more back then, and now more so it's not as mentioned or doesn't apply as much.
It might not be as mentioned as much, but I still see people like commenting on it. I feel like it might be a bit iconic. I don't know.
Yeah, it was kind of up there with Haruhi and the Cultural Revolution back then, so I remember that.
Yeah.
All right. So
I think we mentioned a lot. But if you guys do have any others that you want us to watch that you haven't already mentioned, let us know, because we're big fans. We're big fans. That's it.
Yeah, I thought you were just gonna be like, "Oh, she's dropping the Just Weebs already."
Oh, I should have. I realized the second.
We're big fans. We're Just Weebs.
Yeah.
But we are Just Weebs. But that's kind of like it for most of this. Pretty much covered all the ones we've watched. I know there's plenty that at least I haven't gotten to, and some that Shaw hasn't gotten to that we'll watch eventually. But the point is that KyoAni has done really, really great works, both visually and experimentally, and also some that have just amazing stories that have impacted a lot of people. So we just wanted to kind of talk about them, kind of also get your recommendations for some that we should probably get on very soon and check out. And that's kind of it. And the great thing about Kyoto Animation is that, after the unfortunate tragedy 2 years ago, at least they've been able to kind of come back, because a lot of people at the time thought, that was gonna like pretty much destroy the studio, but they've been able to kind of come back stronger than ever. So
yeah. So if you want to see, like, if you want to support them, go check out more of their series. I know Maid Dragon season 2 is currently airing. We both have to catch up on it, but just kind of, especially also worth mentioning too. I know a lot of people have also been talking about just like how terrible the industry conditions are. And I love that Kyoto Animation exists to prove that you do not need to overwork your staff to death to make such a amazing product. Kyoto Animation is out there giving their staff reasonable hours, reasonable wages, and they're making some of the best looking, best executed, best series in the game. And if we want that to be the model in general, I think it's helpful to support them and show that there's a market for that.
Yeah. And it actually it jives really well when you think about it with the works they produce, such as KyoAni and stuff like that. That's sort of just, appreciating the little things and stuff like that, as opposed to just kind of overworking and stuff. You got to enjoy the things in life. So yeah,
definitely.
I think that's part of why they can create such emotionally resonant works. And a lot of the stuff that resonates with them is in their visuals. They kind of just know how to capture it in animation. So
yeah.
So besides that, we're going to end it here. We'll be back, I think, next week.
Yeah.
With another pod. We'll fill you in during the week what that'll be about. If you like the episode, let us know by liking or giving us a comment, letting us know what you thought. If you haven't subscribed to the channel already, please subscribe, help the channel grow so we can continue to do more awesome episodes that you'd want to watch. And if you're interested in more episodes that kind of cover like a whole topic like this, maybe like a whole studio or a whole anime, with spoilers and whatnot, let us know. We'll try to do that. We're always interested in kind of like when we have the time to like dive deep and kind of just break down like, what makes a studio great or what makes a certain director, like what is it about them and their work and like the messages that they portray. So let us know if you're interested in that type of content. And besides that, you can also catch us on the audio version of the podcast. If you're not able to make it to the live stream, I mean, it's great if you can come on the live stream and hang with us, but if you can't, you can catch us on all audio streaming platforms.
Yeah.
And besides that, I've been Onimaru, she's been Shocking, and together, we're just Weebs. And that's it.
That was a good ending. That's a good way of working in Just Weebs.
Yeah.
That was good.
Just top of my head. Do you want to do a post show or someone here is like Beyond the Boundary? We did talk about Beyond the Boundary.
We did talk about that. So like when we post the video, like the full video, we will have timestamps to every series we talked about.
Yes.
We will have timestamps and that way you can just jump around. So
yeah.
I think that's good. But if we've probably talked about most of the Kyoto Animation shows.
Yeah, we've talked about all the ones that we watched, and we did touch on some of the ones we didn't watch, and sort of, said what we could.
Yeah.
So, and if you have any questions, we can stay on for 3 more minutes. Let us know. If not, we'll just hop off.
Yeah. But I appreciate so many people coming on and talking with us. Especially, I know we didn't get to a lot of chat-related comments. I know KyoAni was being an absolute goat, mentioning a lot of the staff who worked on different series and had a lot of details. I appreciate that from him. A lot of people very invested in Kyoto Animation works, and I think it's great to see. So,
yeah, I was trying to keep up with the chat, but there's just a lot going on. There's a lot of passion, so I couldn't highlight any of it or too much of it. So, there was some good back and forth.
So that's a good question I didn't get to ask you because we talked about my favorite KyoAni works, but which one is your number one? You had to pick one.
I don't know if I can answer this now because I don't know. I like KyoAni, so I think KyoAni might be up there. But I still have to watch season 2, so we'll see.
Yeah.
But I highly doubt it can drop.
And it's not going to go down from here.
Yeah.
Yet.
It can't go down.
Yeah.
Season 2 is already off to a fun start. I did enjoy listening to Bluebird, so I don't know if that's up there.
Please do that you gotta make up for me not loving it. So if you love it, then we are safe as Just Weebs.
What? Oh,
you gotta love Liz.
Yeah. Actually, no, it's definitely I'll maybe listen to Bluebird. I'll see. I don't know, but definitely a silent voice. I think KyoAni's up there. I'm gonna wait till a Violet Evergarden movie to kind of give to to put that up there or see if that makes it up there. And I'm going to say Disappearance, because while I don't remember it at all, I remember how I felt. And how I felt was, this is amazing. So
yeah.
I think those are my 3.
Tom has a question from chat saying, thanks for the stream, guys. Thank you for listening, Tom. Question for me. Did you cry at Dakedo from Tamako Market? And I did. That is the highlight episode from it. I will not say any more, but I was essentially crying. I just cry. It's a fantastic episode. Love it. 10 out of 10. I will not review. I will not explain. So yeah, Onimara will have to find out by watching.
Yeah, I tuned out, so that's good.
It's good.
Class Fact says, have you heard of Munto, aka the Forgotten KyoAni show? So while I was doing a little bit of research before this, I did hear Munto mentioned. I don't know much about it. So maybe that explains it.
Yeah, I mean, that sounds like a cool hidden temple, hidden KyoAni. And we didn't mention Tsurune. That was Tsurune.
I remember when that was airing that season. It just didn't stand out to me, so I never picked it up. And I think I
saw the first episode.
Yeah,
but I'm sure it was decent, but I didn't get to finish it. But as you said, it didn't really stand out too much.
Yeah, and again, the reception hasn't been anything that people are often talking about it. So that kind of didn't make me inclined to check it out.
Yeah, at some point you got to get bullied into watching a show, and we did not really get bullied. So at least respectively, we didn't get bullied yet.
We are susceptible to bullying. I shouldn't be saying this, but if you do want to rally around our comments and make us watch something, we might do it.
You might
just not One Piece. That's too much of a commitment.
I told you. Yumi Neko has been my training arc for One Piece. So
okay.
I viewed it all. Gintama, Yumi Neko, One Piece is the end game. So.
Also, me and Shaw have a few contracts in the works, so if you're interested in seeing those, we can let you know about our journeys down whatever rabbit hole.
Do you have So, but it'll happen. But okay, good to know Thomas Dorothy. Thank you. Then Class, did you see that one?
Yeah, I didn't know he was Dwarfy.
Oh yeah, hi Dwarfy. And then there's another Klausfach. I feel like I'm saying your name wrong, and I feel bad. Comment below. I feel like you've seen that, but I might be making that up.
Canon? No, I have not.
I just in my hair, air is canon. I'm just it's the same.
I just, I actually was for years confusing Canon with Clanad,
It's very close.
Yeah, because and I know there was 2 canons. There was Canon 06 and Canon 09 or Canon, I don't know, or maybe it was just in 04, 05. I don't remember the year, but there was 2, and I think one was just a remake of it. So, but yeah, I never got around to that. I just know those shows made people cry. Air just broke me. So
yeah, just that could be another show.
The 2 shows that kind of broke me in my younger days were legit made me want to quit anime was Air and Samurai X Trust and Betrayal.
That one.
The Rurouni Kenshin prequel movie. Yeah. Dude, I was just what's the point?
What was the point of life? Yeah.
Yeah.
That could be another one, the anime that broke us episode.
Let's do it. Just devoting it to what?
When we cried, call that the title. when they cry.
Let me know when you get to Higurashi, because I'm watching the current season, so curious.
Do I have should I I don't want to ask this because I don't want to.
Should you play the visual novel?
No, I was gonna say, should I play the visual novel or should I watch it? But I don't want to know the answer because I know that just opens up Pandora's box.
One of us has to be the cultured one. And that ship has sailed for me a long time ago to play the visual novels. So you can still be the one that redeems Just Weebs.
No, I don't want. I can't be our hero. Also, I feel like the only thing that's kept me away from Higurashi is I'm such a scaredy cat when it comes to horror, and I'm afraid of just getting scared. Even though I know that they're just drawings, I'm gonna be
no, anime isn't that scary, but I do hear the visual novel, very atmospheric, really does it a lot better even than the original anime. So
whenever anyone says it's not that scary, I know I'm the exception. I know I will get scared.
Listen, my fiance, scaredy cat, spooked out by that stuff. She's loving Higurashi. So
she's hard as fuck, though. I know that she's a badass. She's hard. I mean that in a great way. You don't even
know her.
I know her well enough. I know her to know that she's a badass based on what you said. And I know that
Kaze Talks comes in with a hot take fresh out of the oven. By the way, Endless 8 is a masterpiece.
I have thoughts on this, but it's different from like everyone else's thoughts.
Should we have an Endless 8 pod?
Where we just have 8 podcasts.
Just the
8
pod
hours?
just repeats.
Can we do that? Wait, would
listen,
you guys hate us if we just came out with like?
I dropped season 2 and I never experienced Endless 8. So if you guys want it, I will take the. I will.
Do we watch
take the
Endless
plunge.
8 live?
Oh, we could do that.
Would
We
be fun.
can't do that because like, how would we do that?
Well, I guess we need a Discord server, and then we'd have one of those watch rooms or whatever, and we'd watch with people.
We could do that.
Stream it on Twitch or
And then
something.
I don't know. Yeah, but like we just wouldn't be able to show the footage.
We could show like the bottom corner.
Yeah, maybe. I don't
I've
know.
seen people like React channels do that.
Probably try that. Tom says, I would love to see you guys react to Josie, the tiger, and the fish. Really great grounded portrayal of disability and great romance.
I downloaded that, so I'm excited to watch it.
You got me on romance, so now I have to watch it.
Gotta
That's cool.
see that.
Never heard of it, too. So
It just came out. It's a Bones movie.
you know
So
what? Just
everyone's-
oh, sorry. Okay,
No, go ahead. That
No,
was
go
it.
ahead.
I was just gonna say it came out. It's Bones made it, so everyone's like, "Let's go, Bones movie."
You know what just came out that I don't have any opinion on? I just was like, oh, it's out. Maybe I should watch it. Is Words Bubble Up Like Soda Pop? That came out on
Oh, I
Netflix.
heard of that. Did you watch it?
No, not yet.
I want to watch it.
I was in my KyoAni binge, so.
We do like a movie. We do something where we're like we can't really catch up to like TV series for like a short period of time. So then we just watch like movies and be like movie spot.
Yeah, that would be cool.
8 times over, Endless 8.
I think we could do it. Amethyst says, and I think this is in regards to Higurashi, it's
Yeah.
more gore than horror for me, to be honest. It kind of really is more gore. But again, I've heard the visual novel does a better job of capturing that kind
I
of
don't know.
scary atmosphere.
I don't know how much I want to get
'Cause
scared.
It's all in the soundtrack, apparently. So.
Yeah, I could see that. I'm gonna get like, I just want to like. I don't know if I can dedicate so many hours to being scared when I can barely dedicate small amounts of periods to being scared.
Listen,
but I'm very curious.
Your visual novel journey is almost at an end. You could revisit it later.
That's what I'm thinking. I gotta mail it in because I'm not trying to be on this visual novel grind that much because I'm not disciplined enough for the visual novel grind.
Listen, I will let you off the hook. You're
Thank
good.
you. Thank
Yeah,
you.
but
So
you gotta
cleanse
play
your
Steins
soul.
Gate though. So
Yeah, Steins Gate, and then I'm done. And then I'm free.
because at least there you won't be as like sucked into it because you kind of know what's going on.
I know what's
so.
gonna happen. So, and I played the first visual novel I played was Steins Gate 0, which is not the order.
Yeah. Class Fact says the Endless 8 almost made me quit anime. Maybe we should have an episode called Anime That Made Us Quit Anime. We just highlight all the ones that make us want to quit.
We're gonna. I feel like that's. Oh yeah, this
Free
is.
has the finest selection of husbandos anime has to offer. KyoAni feeds us way too well. We feastin'.
That one's true. I don't know. I might have hot takes on that, but I like some of the husbando casts from other series a bit more. But I mean, Free is up there. I'm not saying it.
Non-KyoAni works?
Yeah,
Like which one?
it's probably Haikyuu and Gintama, probably the top 2.
All right. You know what? Haikyuu. Yeah, I can't fault you for it. Yeah,
Haikyuu, but here's the main
I
difference.
mean, you got Oikawa.
Oikawa's the king. He's on. I can't say that. That's a spoiler. He's killing it. But what I was gonna say is one of the only like gripes I had with Free. Well, one of the few gripes I had is I feel like they kind of made the characters feel like cute girls in cute guy bodies, and they had a lot of mannerisms that felt a bit more like aligned with the cute girl doing cute things shows. And I think that
I mean, it was yeah. Like it was the reverse of what guys get treated to with fan service. It was like, oh, let's just do it.
Yeah,
Like-
and I still think they're great. It was just like a bit. It's like the personality difference is a bit different. But I mean, they're still up there. They're probably my 3rd pick. So I mean, no shade.
Amethyst offers a rebuttal. Makoto's back though.
That is a good rebuttal. That's
Peak.
kind of peak. But yeah, that's a good point.
Subject adds, Wotakoi males are peak.
That's true. But that's kind of the thing of like, if we're talking about a cast, is it like you just have 2 or 3? Because then you could be like, what about like Kaguya-san? Like they have great male characters too, but then it's like 3 of them, so it's kind of tough.
Yeah. I
We're
mean, I
talking
think
about a lot
we're still
versus-
due. I don't know how far in the distance it is, but we will have a thirst cast that will,
The
that will
thirst cast
settle all
would be
of
funny.
this. Thirst cast. No writing, just pure.
No writing, just culture.
Yeah, just pure culture. But we all know the best KyoAni anime is Juni Tyson. Is that a KyoAni anime?
It's not. It's just that one of our favorite, like, so we had a stream, like, we had our seasonal podcast back when Juni Tyson came out, I think in like 2017. And it was just like, Maz was like the only one who loved it. Everyone else was kind of mid on it. But we just kept describing something as like the Juni Tyson of. So everything. So now on, we're like, do we have a Juni Tyson of the season? And we don't even have a good definition of what the Juni Tyson is. You just kind of got to feel the Juni Tyson.
That to me is a bad thing because I dropped that show.
I
don't even know how I lasted so long. I was like 8 episodes in, and I'm like, I know what's gonna happen. It's so obvious. Yeah. Why am I watching this? And I just kind of dropped it. So
I don't think it was bad per se. Like, it was fine, like episode to episode, but it is a seasonal show. Like,
I don't know, it just felt like a drag to me. Like, I just wasn't invested. Because it just felt like, if we're talking about the same show, it just felt like it was obvious what was gonna happen next. So it was just like, okay, kind of know where this is going.
Yeah, I kind of forget the details, but I remember the one episode focusing on who won, and then their episode was good, and then it was kind of like, yeah, looking back on it, a bit predictable, but like close enough.
Yeah,
and the opening was fire.
Yeah, and I think, it was, and that was definitely way before I watched because that wasn't that also by the same author as Monogatari.
Yeah, it was Nisio Ishii.
Yeah. So way before I watched Monogatari.
That's kind of like
Maz threatens to drop this podcast. Well,
valid. He knows what's gonna happen every time when we say just Weebs at the end.
Yeah.
But wait, Maz, describe the Juni Tyson thing. Like, what do we mean? Like, you had a reason for it, but we all just kind of went along with it because we didn't remember Juni Tyson enough, and you did like Juni Tyson, so we were like, yeah, it's just like the Juni Tyson of, but you had an actual definition for it.
Yeah. While you're telling us that, I can mend the relationship by saying, Sento Izuzu from Amagi Brilliant Park is bae. That's it.
I remember when they have like a picture of her in like a pirate outfit, and someone's like so clear of every One Piece girl.
Tom actually says Juni Tyson kind of unrivaled, for real.
Kind of true.
Oh my god. Kind
of true. Kind of spitting. Dude, I might rewatch Juni Tyson for shits and gigs.
I can't do it.
It wasn't. I mean, you've seen worse. I know from experience you've seen worse.
It wasn't bad. You know what was worse? You know what was fucking worse?
I do, but what are you thinking of?
No, I just remembered it. It was a seasonal. It was called, what was it called? It was like a similar thing where it was like a whole season of like a battle royale.
It was
it had a rabbit
Osama
girl.
game.
No. It had a
Osama.
rabbit girl. No, maybe, yeah. Hold on. Rabbit girl. Anime. That's not gonna help.
I don't
Rabbit
remember.
Girl anime.
I think she's in the Juni Tyson, right?
No. No, I don't think so.
Maz would know this. That's his genre.
Let's see. I think Maz did drop off.
He took it seriously. He's like, no, I'm out.
That's it. All right, well, it's over. No, it wasn't Killing Bites. It was let me see. Rabbit Girl Tournament.
Art. I don't know what it is, but like battle royales should be so much better than they are. Raising Project, Darwin's Game.
There was a rabbit girl in Juni Tyson that came up, but no, but
Darwin's Game, Rising Project.
Oh wait, it's coming to me. No, what's the name? Fuck. Let's see.
Oh, fair game, Oz.
Oh, it had let's see.
Not Magical Girl Rising Project?
No. Oh, Roka no Yusha. There you go.
Oh,
Hero of the Brave. Braves of the Six Flowers. That's what it was. Yeah. Did you watch that one?
No. No.
Good.
What is it?
Good.
What's it called again? I'm looking on your list.
Roka no Yusha, Braves of the Six Flowers.
Roka. I feel like I know someone who likes that show. Like I've seen that. Roka.
ROKKA.
Yeah, I feel like my friend Smurf likes this, but no one else likes it.
I'm just being like controversial then, because class. Wait, no. Oh no, subject says. Oh no, both of them say it's great and it's good. What the fuck? I don't know, man. I remember watching it, and I was just so like,
Should have
done
Junie
with that
Tyson.
show. I mean, I watched it till the end. I didn't drop it. I was just like,
how many episodes is it?
Screw the show. I forget what I was mad about though. It was such a long time ago.
I'm probably not going to watch it because it does look like a show you can only watch as a seasonal.
Maz says the Plebe and the Weeb review of it is the greatest video on YouTube.
Oh,
So there you go.
gotta check that out. Yeah, some shows you just really cannot watch after they are done airing, and that's like the Junie Tyson and the, I'm guessing Roka, no, whatever.
You know what? Okay. Class Fact says it was well liked when it came out. Hated the ending though. So I think that's what it was. Back then, I was really big on if the ending pissed me off, that's it. Show was dead to me.
Yeah,
So I think I
that's
really
fair.
hated the ending.
No, you gotta stand your ground. Fight them.
Yeah.
Fight everyone who likes the show and be like, no, this is my fight.
Okay. All right. Shaw's lifting the restraints off of me.
Drop
Fuck
the
you.
weights.
Fuck your opinion. We're just No, I'm just kidding. So
That's
yeah,
funny.
no, I'm trying to remember other forgettable shows, but I think that's the
That's
point.
kind of the point.
We forget them.
Yeah, there are just so many. I do appreciate the not so forgettable shows that are seasonals, but sometimes you just can't remember them.
Yeah, I mean, like I remember Junie Tyson just specifically because like some people were into it. I think my friend was into it, and I was just questioning him, like, why are you into this? It's just so
You were so bothered.
obvious what's gonna happen. He's like, yeah, but it's interesting, all the lore. I'm like, I don't know.
I was kind of down with that. I was down with it as a seasonal show. Like, I think I gave it a 5 or something. Yeah.
I was down with it, yet I gave it a 5. I thought your standard score is 6. 5 is just below.
5, yeah, I mean, technically. But, 5 is like an average experience. What did I give it?
Tom is requesting a hot take stream. If we do have this hot take stream, we need other guests well versed in the hot takes.
Do we get KyoAni?
Yeah.
If we have KyoAni on, I might get violent just because I know some of his hot takes. Like, I might have an aneurysm.
No, this needs to be extra spicy hot take stream. I will be a neutral party though in order to kind of.
No, you have to have the hot takes. I can't just be like a hot takes like merchant. You'd have to have them too.
I got to keep things in order because if you're gonna choke someone out, I got to stop it.
A good thing we're on the internet. No, KyoAni. No, you know what got me? I love KyoAni because he's just such a wild card with some of these things. But like he said, the guitar is a mid instrument.
What?
Yeah, he doesn't like the guitar.
I feel like Yui would have an aneurysm.
That's how I know I'm Yui. But like, that's like one of those things.
So what's a high tier instrument to him?
I don't know. I don't know what he likes as an instrument.
All right, I think this hot takes pod will not only cover anime; it will just cover like life.
I just got so I don't know what it is. I just heard he's like the guitar is not that good, and I was like, I just am so angry. Why does this take exist?
Yui's guitar is actually my favorite guitar in existence. Before I watched KyoAni, it was actually my favorite guitar.
Oh, like
so
the
I was
type
just like,
of it,
yes,
or just the design?
Best guitar for best girl.
I just don't know.
I actually had Yui's predicament where I wanted that guitar, but it was way too fucking expensive.
Yeah. It's cool that she has it somehow. I forget how she got it.
Mugi.
Mugi, of course. Mugi coming in clutch. Do you ever see the Mugi with she has the Dragon Slayer?
No.
There's so many memes of Mugi with Guts' sword and shit.
I haven't seen it, but then again, I'm new to KyoAni, so everything before this, I just didn't know what it was, so I wasn't looking at it, and now it'll just appear and I can recognize it. So.
You can mark the errors of your life as pre-KyoAni and post-KyoAni.
There you go. I guess it would be there would still be PK either way.
Yeah.
Pre and post. Class Fact says 5 is the Junie Tyson of scores.
It is. That's what it means. But
you guys said it was good. Okay.
I didn't say it was good. I said Maz loved it, and we just went along with it.
KyoAni's Hunter x Hunter takes made me question freedom of speech.
Okay, so this is one of those things where you're like, it's bad, but almost forgivable because he hasn't seen the show. So
you know what we should do? And I know I cut you off, but I just had this idea. What if we had a pod devoted to tackling all of the Hunter x Hunter hot takes and nonsensical takes in existence?
I don't know if I can handle that and still be. I think I'll just go full asshole and be like, no, we are no longer just weeds.
Let us know in the comments if you want to see Shaw go full asshole.
If we can only do that if we do the same thing with Ava hot takes.
Oh, I'm down.
You're like,
Yeah.
I've been training for this.
Yeah, I am not allied with any Ava fans. So
In true Ava fan, I hate all other Ava fans. Just kidding. I've met like a lot of great Ava fans, so
it's okay. You met me? No, I'm just kidding.
yeah, that's starts and ends at one. So no, that's a joke. A lot of
Wow.
No, that was a compliment to you. No, but I've met most of the people I know who are Ava fans are like really chill about it and like good stuff. So
Yeah, those are the good ones.
Yeah.
Those are the ones we keep.
yeah.
Tom says, "My heart can't take that stuff, man."
Oh,
subject
yeah.
would be like that would be hard to go through.
This is my favorite comment of all time.
There you go. I think we could bring them on and
I
just
would
be
love
like
that.
the host. Like we're just hosting the pay-per-view. You know, we're in the background,
We're just not even
letting them go off.
we don't have a topic. You guys are the topic.
We could be the refs. You know, we could
Yeah.
just be the judges of their arguments.
I think we could do that.
This could be the prototype for something bigger.
I'm down. I'm down for this in an instant.
I think we
If they're
should do
down,
it.
I think we're gonna do it.
And we're gonna
you guys-
credit Insane Island 13 for it.
I think we're gonna do it, guys. We figured out our next topic.
Yeah, I think that's going to be good. I don't know if it'll happen as soon as next week, but if it's possible, we'll do it because I want to see how toxic it can get.
Yeah, but it's like the thing is,
Take the red pill or take the blue pill and see how deep.
take the black pill.
Oh, there you go. Need Tay to slander Sangatsu again.
Oh, that would be funny.
I still haven't watched it. Do I need to watch it? I guess I need to watch it first before I can experience it, because then the hot take might hurt.
I think we bring Tay and KyoAni on for hot takes, and we all just kind of wait. I have an idea. This is my plan. Everyone can hear this and co-sign it if they like. Okay, so we're gonna bring Tay and KyoAni on. We're each gonna submit 5 hot takes, but it's gonna be anonymous.
Mhm.
Like 5 of us are most ridiculous takes of all time.
Mhm.
We're going to submit them all anonymously, and then I will like literally pull them out of a hat, and on stream we can just go through each take, like read them out loud.
Yeah.
And everyone will react to it, and then we have to see like whose take it is, and then they have to explain it.
Yeah. Whose take is this?
Whose
Explain
is this?
yourself.
And like no one responds.
And
Like
we'll call this format "Explain Yourself."
explain yourself. If people like this might be a thing.
Maz wants to join.
Maz, yeah,
Maz says,
Maz-
"Can I join?"
I feel like
he
Maz,
means the explain yourself.
explain yourself. I think this could be a new series for us.
I think we could do it.
I think so.
It's got to be like yeah, we could do it. Would we do it as like one of our standard stream time things, or would it be like a separate thing? Obviously, I think it needs to be live.
Yeah,
But-
it has to be live.
Yeah, but
And then at the end, everyone can vote for the worst take.
it might have to be a separate thing. Who
I don't
knows?
know.
Or could it take the place of a pod?
I think it could take the place if we have enough. If we announce it on time, I don't
Yeah.
know. Maybe we start it slightly earlier,
Possibly.
possibly. But I think we got this. Should be explain yourself hot takes from around hot takes world round table or something.
Yeah, I think either hot takes roundtable, explain yourself, really explain yourself, something like that. But we'll workshop it.
Okay.
Yeah. Besides that, I think we're at a good stopping point now.
Yeah, we got a new podcast episode. Thanks to everyone. Thank
There you
guys.
go.
We got
Yeah.
a podcast plan.
Yeah, I don't know if it's as soon as next week.
Yeah,
but we'll see.
it will happen in the future, and like mention people you want to come on.
Yeah, definitely. We're welcome to guests. We're actually overdue for guests at this
We are.
point. So
We are. We need some friends to be friends of the pod, and then to explain themselves.
yes, we need to bring them on to explain themselves.
Yeah.
But anyways,
Okay.
thanks guys. Thanks for hanging with
Thank
us.
you.
We will catch you next week. See you guys.
Have a good week.